hottest day ever on Earth of all time.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, July 6, 2023. This is your award-winning Gimbo Nation Media Assassination episode 1570.
This is No Agenda.
Tracking the glad rags and the dime bags and broadcasting live from the heart of the Texas Hill Country here in FEMA Region number 6 in the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where we're all celebrating the release of the Pancake Taco, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
The Pancake Taco. Wait a minute. I don't know if I can handle this.
Yeah.
What is the Pancake Taco?
It's something that IHOP just released.
Sounds disgusting.
I know. It looks pretty good the way they present it. It's like a pancake, filled with whipped cream and strawberries, and then put in a little taco rack so it looks like a taco, and you eat it like a taco.
Oh, do they at least throw a fried egg on top just to make it totally disgusting?
I think there is a savory version.
So Kevin and Christina finally made it here, and so we had nice food.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you go.
It was 3 days, 2 hotel rooms, multiple flights. Anyway, they made it. And Kevin's never been to America. And so, I'm of course...
Well, I'm sure this is a great introduction for him.
He loved the Marriott in Queens. You can only imagine how great that was. So, I'm egging them on, like, hey, you guys should move to Nashville, get out of Holland. It's no good. It's a waiting room. Nothing ever happens. Yeah, and they've been talking about it. They've been considering it for a while. So we're watching...
is he a musician?
Yes, he is, actually.
Oh, yeah, Nashville for sure.
That's what I'm saying. So, we go to our little 4th of July parade, our 4th of July fireworks here. It's all super cute. And then we come home and say, well, let's watch around the country. And so we're seeing CNN, and CNN has Nashville, which is great. It's just nonstop fireworks and music. So they say, this is good. And then we switch over to ESPN and just happen to tune in right at the beginning of Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
Ugh.
Which I had never seen and will never watch again, but Kevin was...
What?
He was... I mean, I've seen a snippet maybe, but I've never actually watched the 10 minutes of these guys jamming 2 hot dogs at a time down their throat.
Wow. I'm stunned by this knowledge.
With soaked buns, jamming it down. I mean, it is the most...
Soaking it. You got to don't leave the soaking out.
Soak it. It's so disgusting. It's unbelievable. Of course, Joey Jaws won again this year with 62 hot dogs. I loved all the stats. They had stats for each guy, when he won, and they all have their own personal eating records of other things besides hot dogs.
They eat pie too.
Pie and sushi and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so welcome to America, Kevin. Shall we get right to it?
The distraction of the week on No Agenda.
I have a super clip.
There are a lot of questions tonight after the Secret Service found what's believed to be a bag of cocaine at the White House.
The substance, described as powdery and cocaine-like, was found on Sunday evening in the West Wing by Secret Service officers.
The Secret Service is investigating the discovery of a small plastic bag. Lab tests are being done, but a field test came back positive for cocaine.
The substance was found in a small dime-sized bag.
It's kind of poetic sense. They would use a library to do drugs instead of to read books.
In the West Wing, in a work area, it's understood it was found in a small Ziploc bag.
The White House, usually drowning in political toxicity, got a dose of actual toxicity with a hazmat scare. The kicker? Cocaine hydrochloride was found.
Wouldn't be a thumping July 4th weekend without Hunter Biden ripping lines off of a bust of Teddy Roosevelt.
A white powder found inside the White House has been identified as cocaine. The discovery in the West Wing triggered a brief lockdown and evacuation.
The hazmat team was called to the area of 18th Street and Pennsylvania Avenue following the package's discovery. Secret Service units blocked off roads around the White House following the incident.
And the Secret Service
Service is investigating how cocaine powder got into the White House. The discovery caused a brief evacuation to make sure the powder was not explosive.
There was a partial evacuation of that area in the West Wing where the substance was found, and also the area of the West Wing where White House reporters work that's nearby.
And sparked an elevated security level. The radio call from responding fire crews confirmed the powder had tested positive as cocaine.
We have a yellow bar stating cocaine hydrochloride.
In a statement, spokesman Anthony Guglielmi said, quote, on Sunday evening, the White House complex went into a precautionary closure as officers from the Secret Service Uniformed Division investigated an unknown item found inside a work area, and an investigation into the cause and manner of how it entered the White House is pending.
Sources tell CBS News it was discovered in a common workspace in the West Wing on Sunday night. The area is accessible to tour groups.
Is it the frat house or the White House? How unusual is it to find drugs there?
I'd say it's very unusual. The only thing I'm surprised, Rob, is that it's not a kilo.
For context, I'm told this is truly a rare, surprising event, given the security protocols involved in the West Wing.
To figure out, okay, who brought it in and just how many amounts.
How and who would have got this into the White House?
This bag was found in a common area of the West Wing where many employees and guests pass through. Cameras and entrance logs will be checked to try to figure out who may have left it and when. It was found Sunday night when the president and his family were not here.
The Secret Service is not saying a lot. There are tours in that area. President Biden was away at Camp David when all of this happened.
President Biden was not at the White House on Sunday. He was at Camp David.
Hunter, I can tell you, was at the White House on Friday, leaving with his father for Camp David. Sadly, he may have forgotten his party favors.
President Biden was not here at the White House at the time the substance was discovered.
The president was at Camp David at the time.
This is a much deeper story. This was an attempt to degrade the power of Joe Biden because the Democrats want him gone because he's so useless.
There you go. Happy birthday, America. Well done, M5M. Woohoo!
I have a little presentation to make.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear this.
This involves a question and answer with you, and it's about the cocaine. And let's start by we go to the 5, and we'll start with the 5.
Yes, the 5.
And,
yes.
and we start with Perino, who does the presentation of this, and this is Cocaine 1.
All right, a shocking drug discovery at the White House, sparking a blizzard of speculation. Fox News can confirm that cocaine was indeed found in the West Wing on Sunday while President Biden and his family were away at Camp David. The Secret Service discovering the white powder in a what they called working area during a routine inspection. It caused a brief evacuation with fire and emergency crews responding to a 911 call to the White House, weighing in today and pointing out that
do they have their own writers? That there's no writer's strike for the blizzard pun? Jeez.
No, that's a good question. I guess they're going for it. So that's the end of that clip?
Yeah, that's the end of the clip. Yeah.
We go to Jean-Pierre.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Kareem, Jean-Pierre Abdul-Jabbar.
Mm-hmm. Whatever her name is. Mm-hmm. I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
So there's an Ask Adam.
Do I play
occasionally you run into a situation where you're like a little kid keeps saying something because he wants to get a point across, or he's guilty about something, or they're just repeating something too often.
Ah, yeah.
You know that phenomenon?
Yeah, it's called lying.
And so you're going to have to listen carefully.
All right.
But she repeats a phrase over and over and over and over and over.
Have to listen
and
carefully.
You're going to have to try to figure out what it is.
Because I might not catch it. Yeah, I'm ready.
You might not catch it.
Okay, I'm ready to go. Do we go? Here we go.
Where this was discovered is a heavily traveled area where many White House West Wing, I should be even more specific, West Wing visitors come through this particular area. When people visit the West Wing, there is the area of the West Wing where it is highly traveled, and that is what happens. People come through this particular area. It's highly traveled. I'm just not going to get into specifics. We do have West Wing tours that occur here on campus. They happen in this particular past couple of days. They happened on Friday, they happened on Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, hold on.
Ask Adam, will he know or will he won't? I don't know, but here we go. Ask Adam, yeah.
I'm going to say West Wing was the phrase that was repeated multiple times.
Excellent.
Thank you. Very
You're good at this.
Very pleased with myself.
So, so now we go to the last clip of this series, and this is Gutfeld actually kind of drops something that was left out of most of this reporting, even though in your super clip it was mentioned once or twice, which is the same number of times that the word cocaine hydrochloride. I don't know what. I
had to look that up. I asked ChatGPT, and it literally said cocaine hydrochloride, also known as cocaine.
So I don't know what that's all about, but okay.
It's a cover. It's like, well, that's
so
just for
Gutfeld
stuffy nose, man.
I get the feeling that they're under orders not to say anything but West Wing, but so Gutfeld kind of drops a little gotcha in here, and then Judge Janine picks it up.
Oh boy.
Brings it into the conversation. And then all of a sudden, I think somebody said something to her, and she says, well, wait, I got to go back to what I was talking about.
Oh, she got an IFB call out.
I think so. Listen to this.
It went from it was found in a library, highly specific, to a working area. And they kept stressing this over and over again. The possibility of suspects are endless.
But the amazing thing is, Greg touched on this. For the D.C. hazmat people said it's in the library. There's a tape recording. Dana, where is the library? The library is in the East Wing, where the president's family is, and not the West Wing, where the public and the press go through. But let me continue that train of thought.
Outstanding catch, Judge Janine. Interesting.
Now, when she said this and she pointed to Perino, who knows, and nobody contradicted that was in the East Wing.
Oh.
Except I'm getting a call now from the CIA.
Judge, could you turn me down just 6A on the East A, okay?
Yeah.
And there's a number of, and so everything, like all the follow-up stories on today's news, for example.
Oh, there's your first scammer of the day. Put that suction cup on the side and jack it into the board. Let's hear who's calling John now.
I wish. They stopped calling. It was a fake.
Oh, okay.
So the robots don't call that. They don't let it ring too much.
Yes.
So everything in today's stories is the following.
West Wing.
Well, besides West Wing,
heavily traveled.
All of guys, they bring in all these guys, a lot of ex-congressmen and everybody in between this, especially on Fox, and they all say the same thing. And I don't have clips of this, but it goes like this. Oh, there's cameras everywhere in the West Wing.
Oh, yeah.
You can't even even sneeze without it being on camera. Everything in the West Wing's recorded, and they're pounding this home until the White House goes back with the hazmat guys and say they won't do it. They won't say it's in the East Wing because there's no cameras to catch anyone. This has become a fiasco, but it is a distraction of the week. But
it was great.
What's your thoughts on this? This is like
it's
obviously hunters walking around snorting coke all over the place.
First of all, it was just fantastic. I mean, it really lightened the mood for 4th of July. I was reading on Twitter before this came down.
Fantastic story.
Before this came down, I was reading stories like, I don't have any plans for the 4th. I'm not a Republican. Stuff like that. People showing their flag, their pride flag. It's like, oh. And it just lightened the mood, because everyone could make a pun. Like, I like the Blizzard joke. And even, you heard it in there, like, I want a blow by blow. Oh, too early.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So people were doing funny stuff. What was really cool was the C-SPAN footage of the first family on the balcony at the White House. And Hunter's, like walking behind him, touching his nose.
Was he hitting his nose?
Oh, he was hitting his nose. And
no!
And there's one shot where he's like, now I have to say it's a little manipulated, so it's a little spun up, and and he's wearing a jacket, so I'm sure it was really warm in DC. But he's sweating like a maniac, and he's like, and he's patting down his hair, and he's like touching someone, and so I don't know. I mean, as you pointed out in the newsletter, I think you should go look at all the congressional offices. You'll probably find a lot of cocaine on Capitol Hill or on the campus.
Bring in a sniffer. That's why I said bring in a dog. Bring the dogs.
No, the dogs will not come out alive. They'll sniff and they'll just fall down dead from the amount of coke that I'm sure is all over that place. But yeah, I mean, what is odd is that there was, there was a light cover up, a light touch attempt by saying cocaine hydrochloride. Like, come on, like, it's medicine.
It's
medicine,
heard that,
man.
what?
It's medicine. it's medicine, and then but then people
it's like codeine or what's the stuff that you use instead of codeine in cough syrups, which is.
No, that's
has that sound to it.
Meth.
Not meth. Not meth.
But the catch of all catches is right there, what you played from Judge Deneen, that the library is in the East Wing, and then having Jean-Pierre Van Claude Dam sitting there and saying West Wing, West Wing, West Wing, heavily trafficked area, and then they have the audio. Like, even the cops in Fredericksburg are using digital encrypted audio. You can't use a scanner these days. I'm surprised that the hazmat guys in the White House have audio that you can listen to with a Bearcat scanner. That was surprising.
There are some police departments that I think Berkeley I can still pick up.
It's the White House. Come on, you wouldn't.
What makes you think the White House is more improved than Berkeley?
At least we know why they call it the White House now. So,
whoa!
Hey, now.
Oh, usually somebody wrote that.
No. Actually,
okay.
Yes. No, it is Steve Jones.
Yes.
Clip collector. No, he did. He also got me the super clip. Now, there was something else that happened. There were a couple.
I'm glad somebody sniffed that out.
Oh, Bo. You can go work for the 5. It'll be the 6. The 5 now with John C. Dvorak. But you can replace Geraldo. So, two things. One,
this has been on for years.
The Twitters were filled all through the 3rd and the 4th, and 4chan. Everyone's they're going to strike the nuclear plant on the night of the 5th. It's going to happen. It's coming down. It's going down. Protect yourselves. They're giving the troops extra time off to be with their families so we all can perish together. It's happening. It's happening. It's going to be a dirty bomb.
You know what's missing from this scenario?
What?
Who's selling the iodine tablets?
Well, you know who is.
Is he still selling them?
He better be. I should check him.
I don't think he is.
Is Seedman? I know that Sir Gene had an iodine business he was opening up. He also has. What's he selling? He's selling EMP devices that you can put into your circuit, and then you won't get EMP'd, which sounds like a huge scam to me.
I don't know.
But he was talking about iodine. Maybe Sir Gene is doing it. I'll have to ask him. Anyway, there is something else that happened. I mean, I don't know if it was significant or not, but it would have been newsworthy.
Police are searching for at least one suspect who hurled explosives at several Washington, D.C. businesses early Sunday morning. Authorities released a photo of a possible suspect in a gold Acura TL with a Maryland license plate. Investigators say an explosive was first set off outside a bank. Then minutes later, another explosive went off outside a Nike store. 9 minutes after that, a Safeway grocery store was hit with a Molotov cocktail. Luckily, no one was hurt.
I don't know. I thought that was pretty newsworthy. 3 attacks in...
I never even heard this story.
No.
That's how newsworthy it was.
And remember, everybody...
Oreos are just as addictive as cocaine.
All right. Just remember, your Oreos are just as addictive as cocaine. So, it was like, there was that. Now, there wasn't... Now, it was actually kind of sad because there was some really big news, I felt. Let me see. This is the basic headline.
New this morning at 6:05, a federal judge in Louisiana is limiting the Biden administration from contacting social media companies when it comes to removing certain posts. The order comes as Republican attorneys general in 2 states sue the administration. They claim Biden pressured sites like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube to remove messages containing purported misinformation about COVID-19, election security, and other issues. A Trump-appointed judge Terry Doty says American citizens have the right to engage in free debate about the significant issues affecting the country. The decision appears to take effect immediately, but can still be appealed.
Yes, you were protesting.
You remember, let's say a decade ago.
Boy, okay.
This is go back less than that, but probably go back 5 years, and this argument would still hold up. Whenever have reporters preface the judge with Trump appointed?
It was every
Obama appointed, Bush appointed. That's never been before. I never heard Reagan appointed or Bush or Nixon appointed.
No,
I don't remember a Nixon appointed judge.
No. I don't. Most people weren't alive who were reporting on the news now to be able to say that.
Well, I was alive when there was listening. I mean, we didn't have the show, but I never heard such a thing.
Well, let's listen to CNN, who are this lawsuit of this injunction is interesting. It was too much for me to read through. It's it's a lot of pages. I couldn't get to everything, but lawyers and scholars of law are emailing me saying, this is pretty solid. This is some pretty big news. And CNN is, of course, very upset because, it's all Republican plot. Trump appointed judge.
Trump appointed judge.
Oh, right at the beginning. Hello, everybody.
Trump appointed judge, but this judge was confirmed 98-0 by the Senate. Just reading the words in this injunction, a, quote, massive effort by the defendants to suppress speech based on content. Those are the judge's words, calling the present case, quote, arguably involves the most massive attack against free speech in the United States history, Ellie.
Yeah. It's a dramatic decision by this judge. If you read through it, he's citing to literature and George Washington and Ben Franklin. Here's what really is astonishing to me. This is a conservative ideology that clearly comes through in this decision. It's a conservative political ideology, right? We saw some of the quotes questioning vaccines, questioning masks, conservative talking points. But the ruling itself is the opposite of judicial conservatism. This is one of the most aggressive, far-reaching rulings you'll ever see. What this judge is purporting to do is to micromanage, really, the day-to-day interactions between essentially the entire executive branch, all these agencies that are listed as defendants, and the leading social media companies. And in the actual temporary injunction, the judge basically says, you're not allowed, administration, to talk to these social media companies about any protected free speech except for cybersecurity threats, national security threats, criminal threats. But where's the line? Who's going to police this?
Clutching my pearls. Who's going to police? And this is very much the mantra amongst M5M is, you can't really operate a social media site without censorship. Content moderation.
They go on and on about it. Now, I didn't get any clips on this topic, but I will repeat what I saw on PBS.
Oh, okay.
So PBS had this woman on who is a professor, just like kind of ghastly looking professor from one of the schools.
Yeah.
And she goes off on this saying this is terrible because all the examples that, for example, yes, the government called Twitter and they over and over, but there were no overt threats. There were no threats whatsoever. And it's as if you get a call from the IRS and they say, hey, we'd appreciate it if you did something for us.
Yes, just a little thing here.
There's no threat.
No, we're just asking you to help us out.
So, and I thought that her naivete about this was so ridiculous because they left her on forever, yakking away about this. I don't get it. I don't understand what was the deal. What was the fuss? Who cares?
Well, this kind of harkens back to the Twitter files, and we saw what was actually going on. And if you read this, what I've read so far, it's pretty damning. Let's just call this a summation of the Twitter files. And, if people actually in America took some time to read it, I'm sorry, if they could read above a third grade level, they might be shocked, I'm telling you, shocked at what was going on. And this, of course, comes on the right on the heels of the launch of Threads, the Zuckerberg Twitter alternative, Threads. Threads, whatever. Now,
what are you doing? What are you calling it? Threads.
It's Threads. What is... This is
Tourette is what it sounds like.
Tourette's. What is interesting? Zuckerberg's Tourette's social media network. What is interesting is the juxtaposition, big word, of this with what is happening in France, where Macron turned off the internet in some parts of not just Paris, but some parts of the country to thwart the threat of social media, and I have a report.
Julia Seeger, great to see you, Julia. Social media platforms are being accused of amplifying violence during these protests. Why is that?
Well, first of all, because social media platforms operate on engagement, so they use algorithms to identify trending topics and hashtags and videos that are the most shared and the most commented upon, and that's what they push to their users, and that what fuels their news feed, but also their rankings, recommendations, and group functionalities. And of course, during periods of protest and riots and unrest, the videos that tend to trend are outbreaks of violence. Now, the hashtags that are currently being used, at least in the last couple of days here in France, are Naël, Nanterre, police, but also civil war. And it's those videos with these attached hashtags that are being pushed to users. Now, it's also what's being criticized is the economic model of those platforms, because they make money depending on how long people spend on the platform. And unfortunately, we know that violent content tends to be an effective way to keep people on their platforms. Now, social media platforms are also used to spread information, coordinate meeting points and actions. And that's what we saw during the storming of the U.S. Capitol in January 2021. Now, on Snapchat, for instance, you also have very popular features like Snap Map, which is an interactive map where you're going to see in real time locations where publications, videos of destruction, and scuffles with the police are happening in real time. So here you can see where that actually happened. And I think what's important is to understand that riots are becoming viral. They're being live streamed on social media platforms. And this is something that we didn't actually see during the student riots of 2005. Even though back then students didn't need social media to establish rallying points. But they're not responsible, the platforms, but they are becoming an echo chamber in which everyone can participate in real time. And as you said, Delano, the French government has asked those platforms now not only to take down all of the violent content, but also to give the information, the identity of people who have been perpetrating those acts and those criminal offenses.
So, very different story there in France. Very different story.
I got to get a couple things out of the way here.
Sure.
Because I was thinking about this the other day, and I realized that this whole France thing is a CIA op.
Well, there's a lot of evidence that points towards that, yes.
And what comes to mind is something we said on about 3 shows ago where I brought back up freedom fries because France wasn't on board.
Yeah, with the
Ukraine war.
Well, freedom fries initially was, of course, 9/11.
Yeah, it was a 9/11. Yeah. Well, freedom fries actually came out of France not joining our Iraq war.
The coalition, yes.
The coalition. They said, no, screw you. And all of a sudden, now we hate France.
Yeah, the Freedom Coalition.
And so... Yeah. I love our monikers.
We're laughing about it, but it's so sick.
It's sick. It's hilarious. So,
Coalition of the Willing. I'm sorry. Thank you, trolls. Coalition of the Willing. That's what it was. That was even better than that.
The Coalition of the Willing. I forgot that.
Yes. Good one.
So the French aren't on board with the Ukraine thing to the extent we want them, and then it came up in an NTD clip, which I didn't keep. Or is an older one where the French weren't on board with anything we're doing with China. They're just not on board.
No.
And so, okay, why are the French not on board? It's not the French. It's Macron.
Yeah, he's the problem. He has to go. He's the problem.
He's got to go. So this is an op. What do you call it when you regime change.
Yes.
We're doing a regime change in France, one of our allies. And, of course, important to the regime change, as has been shown in the past, in all these other regime changes we've attempted, is Twitter. Twitter has to be part of it.
Has to be part of the regime change. Good point.
And that's why Twitter is not going away anytime soon, because it's a very useful tool. But this is all an op.
There was, I was reading an article, see if I can find it, that, so we had the Athena, the Netflix movie, and I believe that, like, the kid who was killed, or, there's some family relationship to the actual actors. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. You pointed out, we don't even know. We didn't really see anything. We didn't really see the murder happen. We saw some circumstantial evidence. And I hate to be ghoulish about it, because it sure seems like they buried somebody. But when it comes to ops, I mean, our CIA doesn't give a crap. Do whatever they have to do. Whatever they have to do. Including forcing everybody to not release the true information, which is required by law since 2017. Then Biden just came out again and went, oh, yeah, we're going to release just about everything. Except for the really important stuff that you can't know. The JFK assassination papers.
I have my thesis on that based on some of these things we played on the show, which is that CIA didn't kill Kennedy.
No, I know. The mob and CIA couldn't stop the mob, and the mob is in charge, and the head of the crime family is Joey.
Joey is now.
Joey the Bull. Anyway, so part of the op, and I think the op is far and wide. It's not just France, although they're rolling out the true shills. This is a great one from France 24 incoming. But, this whole, we're bringing racism back to the old country. The Netherlands, racist. You have a racist history. Everyone's France. Don't get me started.
Dr. Fleming, thank you so much for your time this evening. I think it's safe to say that the images of police brutality here in France have shocked European audiences.
Notice police brutality all of a sudden. Now it's police brutality. That weapons from Ukraine are showing up in these riots, like U.S.-made, weapons.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I got some notes about that.
It wouldn't surprise me.
No,
why should I be surprised?
Of course not.
Here in France have shocked European audiences. As an American, I wanted to get your take on what you've seen in the last few days and how it compares to the U.S. there.
Now, this is an American expert, sociologist.
Here we go.
This is the op. Here it is, just as you said.
Thanks for having me, and also for making clear I am a sociologist. So, of course, there are a lot of parallels between what we're seeing in France, the rise of police shootings that have disproportionately targeted Black French people who are Arab or Black. That is similar to what we see in the United States and in other countries, where biases in policing and in police violence reflect the biases of the broader society. One of the differences with France is that there is a really deeply rooted denial of the cause of the specific killing of Niel himself, but also these broader issues of discrimination. It's just this deeply entrenched, really colonial mindset.
Hold on, can you stop?
Mm-hmm.
Who is this woman? And why is she such an expert?
Honestly, let me see. Do I have it?
I think
here?
she's an American university sociologist. I think.
That's what she is. That's what she is, and
so she is okay. So we take an American sociologist.
Yeah, to tell you what's wrong with France. Hello. This
okay. I'm in.
You don't even know. You need to know who she is. The setting is perfect. I should know. I'm sorry. I should know. But
really deeply rooted
colonial
denial of the cause of the specific killing of Niel himself, but also these broader issues.
She knows
of discrimination.
nothing about the killing.
It's just
no. No, of course
she
not.
She knows jack about the killing.
No, of course not.
We don't know. Nobody knows.
Specific killing of Niall himself.
This specific killing.
But also these broader issues of discrimination. It's just this deeply entrenched, really colonial mindset that prevents French authorities from admitting that racism is to play, but also that racism is rooted in, again, France's history of colonization.
Well, of course, they colonized Africa. They still print money for 5 countries in Africa, of course.
And in fact, leading a non-native language in Africa is French.
Yes, a lot of places in the world. So one of our producers told me that the possible replacement would be Édouard Philippe, who was Prime Minister of France from 2017 to 2020 under Macron. He's a lawyer, former member of UMP, Union for Popular Movement, which later became the Republicans, served as a member of the National Assembly until 2017. Could be the possible guy to come in.
We should be, yes, anyone who has ideas.
We like getting ideas.
Because this guy's done.
Yeah, he has to be done.
He has to be done. There's no way he can survive this.
I predict suicide by jet engine ingestion.
He's not. No one's doing that.
You just wait.
You keep predicting it.
Phoebe, it's okay, baby. It's okay. It's okay. Just French. It's okay.
Ruff.
Don't get her all crazy. She doesn't.
Ruff.
I am going to tell you, there will be a major person to commit suicide by jet engine ingestion of a private plane. This will happen.
No.
And my bet is still on Hunter. It's a trend. Come on, it's a trend.
It's a funny idea.
It's a trend.
Ghoulish, but it's a very funny idea for Hunter Biden to get sucked into a jet engine as his method of suicide. But this is something of a stretch.
The poor schmuck at San Antonio Airport that was ruled as suicide. He hated his life so much he committed suicide by getting sucked into a jet engine.
That's not the way to do it.
But that was the news, so it's now a thing. It's a setup.
We'll
It
would be funny if it became a fad.
Like swallowing goldfish. It's a fad.
Well, this happens with bridges. Like the Golden Gate Bridge for a while was faddish to commit suicide by jumping off of it.
That's true.
So it could be a fad. A fad could happen. Suicide fad. We don't. People are getting their tits chopped off for no good reason and being sterilized because it's a fad.
Oh man!
And
you're going there. You're going there with me. You're going there with me. I have.
Yes, but not with Hunter's not doing that.
I have a great clip.
It's going to be accidental. I think it's going to be like accidental. He's going to ingest.
Overdose.
Can't get him off overdose because of fentanyl.
Fentanyl. Yeah, of course.
It's got to be fentanyl related. That's what's going to happen.
No. He's got to go straight to Trank. Trank is the new.
He's not going to go to Trank.
Trank is like everyone's doing Trank now.
We explain what Trank is to the people that don't know what you're talking about.
Trank is a horse tranquilizer with fentanyl.
Yes, and it turns you into a zombie.
No, you die.
Well, you die from fentanyl, too. I think it's going to just be, he got bad coke through no fault of his own, and the bad coke had fentanyl in it.
That'll be the report. Hunter Biden died today due to a bad batch of coke through no fault of his own.
Yeah.
Okay, just winding up with France for a moment. Interesting that the French people...
By the way, only our podcast gets this maudlin.
Of course. Maudlin, another fantastic term. Maudlin. What is the exact definition of maudlin?
Sick. Relating to death.
Let me just check this out.
Look it
up. Maudlin. Okay, we'll go to Merriam-Webster.
Dark humor.
Drunk enough to be emotionally silly, weakly and effusively sentimental. This is weird. Oh, those are synonyms. I'm sorry. We don't want synonyms. We want the actual word. Here we go. They've screwed up the dictionaries to such a degree. You can't even look up a word anymore. Okay, I'll go to dictionary.com then. Here we go. Tearfully or weakly emotional, foolishly sentimental, It says nothing about.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. It was my usage of the word modeling.
I think you are. Mandolin.
Well, something sentimental about poor
poor Hunter.
Poor Hunter.
There
Poor
was
guy.
something kind of interesting. The French people apparently support the police officer. And they had to halt the GoFundMe.
Let's don't talk about that.
Well, no, France 24 does.
They've raised more than €1.5 million in barely 5 days, with more than 80,000 participants and one-off donations of up to €3,000. All this in order to support the family of the police officer under investigation for the death of Nahel, killed after being stopped in the Paris suburb of Nanterre last week. The GoFundMe campaign was set up by Jean Messia, a former spokesman for far-right politician Eric Zemmour. But after calls for it to be deleted, its founder announced that it would be halted on Tuesday evening, making it impossible to use the money. This police union rep defended the campaign.
Aujourd'hui, vous avez une mère qui se retrouve seule avec un enfant.
You have a mother who's on her own with a child. Her husband is currently detained. He's going to launch legal proceedings which will last a long time. And we know it'll be high profile. His wife needs this financial support to be able to continue bringing up her child.
But is it legal? It is authorized if its sole purpose is to support the family. But a judge can ban it if it's used to finance fines or damages, or if it threatens public order. In 2021, another fundraiser was cancelled by the courts. It had been set up to support a yellow vest protester who had been convicted of assaulting a policeman.
So no money. Hey, maybe you were looking for morose.
Ooh, morose could be the word.
Morose kind of fits it. Gloomily or suddenly ill-humored. That's
that would
you.
be.
You.
I should have said morose instead of maudlin.
Right there. I like maudlin.
I have to be careful about some of these words. Over the years, they kind of deteriorate in the memory.
While we're on mea culpas, I was wrong. I called out trolls as stupid trolls about Max Blumenthal. And the reason why I was wrong is I was confused with Richard Blumenthal, and I thought they were saying he was related to Richard Blumenthal, the creep, who once, he and the Lady G.
There's so many Blumenthals, I can't be making this sort of mistake. The one that they were referring to is the one that worked with Hillary?
Yes. So
the Hillary Blumenthal.
Yes, which is interesting that Max Blumenthal is Sydney's son, and Max is going against the grain here. But it would have been okay if I just said, no, you're wrong, but I called them stupid trolls. So I feel bad about that, and I was wrong.
Oh, you made yourself look foolish.
I did. Very foolish. Very foolish. Now, I have some feedback about you.
Oh, no.
Yes. Back in episode 1562, I listened in horror as JCD went haywire with the rain stick in order to stop the Nova Scotia wildfires, which, let's be honest, Fidel Jr. probably said himself to push climate BS. Well, it worked. JCD ruined Scandinavian summer. It's been raining for a friggin' month. Summer in this part of the world is so sweet because our winters are harsh and they come early and stay late. All we get is June, July, August so far. The first third of our best season has been a complete washout. I told you to go easy. I wasn't
the one who went nuts with the rain stick. It was you.
No, you were jiggling it up and down.
I always do that. To get the little balls out of the little crevices.
I even said you were going nuts. I even said you went too far. You went too far on that. So sorry, Canada. We apologize.
Someone called me out on the email about not using the turkey sound right, which is this.
Correct. And that someone is sending me a turkey call to do it properly.
And then, because I do this once in a while.
Yeah, that's wrong.
And that bothers him.
Yes, of course it does. As discussed on the previous episode, and since you bring up the regime change, And of course, we had it before ABC, but we'll let them report on it.
We turn now to the director of the CIA offering some rare insight into how the agency recruits spies.
Rare insight? How about school?
Dr. Burns says the attempted revolt against Vladimir Putin by Russian mercenaries last month has provided a unique opportunity for the U.S. intelligence community. ABC's Em Nguyen is here to explain that. Em, good morning.
Good morning, Lionel. That aborted rebellion happened about a week ago, and though it ended within just hours, the CIA director says it's still making an impact. This morning, U.S. CIA Director William Burns capitalizing on the short-lived mutiny in Russia by Wagner Group mercenary boss Yevgeny Prigozhin, stating Russian frustrations with the war in Ukraine is making it easier to recruit spies.
Disaffection with the war will continue to gnaw away at the Russian leadership. That disaffection creates a once-in-a-generation opportunity for us at CIA. At our core, a human intelligence service.
At our core, we kill people, but at our core, it's an intelligence service.
We're not letting it go to waste.
Burns in England calling it striking that Prigozhin, once a close confidant of Vladimir Putin, preceded his actions with scathing words on Russia's most senior military officers.
The impact of those words and those actions will play out for some time. A vivid reminder of the corrosive effect of Putin's war on his own society.
The CIA launched an effort in May to recruit Russians who had expertise in science, technology, or diplomacy on the Telegram social media site. The campaign provided instructions on how to contact the CIA on the dark web. The Kremlin accusing the U.S. of trying to destabilize their country. And overnight, Russia launching drone attacks on the capital, Kyiv, after a 12-day break. Officials saying air defense systems destroyed all targets. This as Ukraine advances their counteroffensive. Around the devastated eastern city of Bakhmut, Ukrainian soldiers telling ABC News they believe they can liberate the area. Ukrainian officials again warning Russia might also attack the Zaporizhia nuclear plant to try to disrupt their counteroffensive.
Oh, yeah. Now, before
did you notice the wording in there? She said air defenses destroy. First, she goes like this: drone attack. Air defenses destroyed all targets.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't say all drones. She said all targets, which would be the targets of the drones.
Yes. That's weird.
All right. Well, anyway, just a little note. But there's something up with this with Burns there. There's no reason him to come out and say this stuff.
Well, it's regime change. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, but they're not accomplishing it. I don't see any evidence of that.
No, it's psychological warfare. It's, like the 4th Army Division psych wars. Like, oh, we're everywhere. Oh, be very afraid. Meanwhile, The Guardian reporting that Hot Dog Boy isn't even in Belarus. He's back in Russia. He may even be dead. As Putin says, he lived by the troll, he dies by the troll. As the Kremlin appears to gain control of the Wagner warlord, new term, warlord's troll farms, as Patriot media operations shut down. So maybe it was no deal. We're getting nothing. We're getting CIA.
I think you nailed it.
We're getting CIA reporting.
Right in the middle of it. Yeah. You nailed it. We don't know what the hell's going on.
They barged in, smashed the front door, felt like they were busting a brothel, not the workplace of patriotic journalists, said a senior staffer at RIA-FAN, the flagship Patriot online outlet. So, who knows? I did get this little tidbit from the Defense and Aerospace report.
How stable and secure is Vladimir Putin at the moment, even if we want to imagine him to be, sort of 1 foot out the door or 1 foot on a banana peel?
Well, last week when we talked about...
1 foot on a banana peel, ladies and gentlemen. CIA work.
That's descriptive.
Classy.
Him to be, sort of 1 foot out the door or 1 foot on a banana peel.
Well, last week when we talked about the mutiny, we actually asked a lot of questions and we cautioned people not to jump to conclusions because so much wasn't really known and so much is still not known about what actually happened and what transpired behind the scenes. Certainly, Vladimir Putin is still in power. Certainly, he is still very much in place, along with his allies. But people have noticed some unusual behavior. For example, when he visited Dagestan, as you have indicated, he was out there in the crowds hugging people and having people getting really close to him. That's really unusual for someone who for many years sort of tried to stay away from exactly this type of very close engagement. And behavior like that, which is in contrast to much of his official behavior, breeds a lot of rumors, but we're not going to go there. We're just going to kind of take things as they are. And
by the way, some have even suggested that those are one of his many body doubles did that, right? I mean, there's been a little bit of discussion of, okay, was that actually Putin or not, right? In some circles. Right.
His behavior basically is indicative of a lot of facts that breed these such rumors, because on one hand, he could have a very sort of distant contact with even his closest officials. As you have indicated, he's sitting across from a very long table, and shortly afterwards, he's out there gleefully hugging people. That's really unusual, even for Western politicians who are normally engaging a lot with their constituents on a regular basis.
How about this? How about the CIA has Putin doubles and you just pop them out here and there? That might be something they would do.
Wow, that's a good one. I wouldn't even considered. Could be.
They're recruiting on the dark web Putin lookalikes. Which is it's a Tor address, by the way. Woo! Big dark web, big scary dark web.
Dark web. So that would make some sense, and he just crops up here and there. He's got these Putin lookalikes that come and go.
It would be kind of interesting.
There are Putin lookalikes. I don't know if I documented any in the newsletter, but you can look at him and tell it's not Putin.
Like Biden, we got Biden lookalikes, body doubles.
There's about at least 2 other Bidens.
Yeah.
And then there's the shouting Biden. My favorite guy.
Let's see what Zelensky's up to. Surprise, surprise.
In Ukraine, Ukraine's President Zelensky is warning about a dangerous situation in his country involving a massive nuclear facility in Russian-occupied territory. Charlie D'Agata is in the Ukrainian city of Zaporizhia for us this morning. Charlie, good morning.
Morning to you, Tony. It has been a nerve-wracking night for all of Ukraine, but especially here in the vicinity of that nuclear power plant.
By the way, this is a CIA broadcast systems report, so expect some tension.
That's after Russia and Ukraine accused one another of plotting an attack in the complex over the next couple of days. Overnight, President Zelensky outlining his claims in detail that Russian troops have placed objects resembling explosives on the roof of several power units at the complex. Those are his words. That's after Russia accused Ukraine of planning to strike the plant with missiles or drones packed with radioactive waste from other nuclear facilities. Neither side providing any evidence of those claims. Now, the plant has been under Russian control since it was captured about a month into the invasion and fought over ever since. Authorities routinely run drills in this region for civilians in case of a major incident. A local official we spoke to this morning said residents will receive warnings on their phones instructing them whether to stay inside and close the doors and windows or get ready to evacuate.
So I didn't clip it, but I have at least 4 different videos. I put them in the show notes of the International Atomic Energy Association president. He's over there. He's inspecting the plant. It's like there's nothing going on. It's all calm. You know, they had a little bit of worry about the water and, you know, because of the dam that was blown up, which of course Russia did themselves. You know, everything seems to be pretty calm. Except
there's a little tidbit in this story that I only heard once on one of the reports, and I have never heard it since because it makes it make even less sense that the Russians would do this. That's the power plant that powers everything in Crimea.
Yes, they wouldn't want to take that out.
Why would they want to blow it up?
Exactly. No, they don't. But, you know, Zelensky.
new this morning. Russia claims it intercepted 5 Ukrainian drones. They say the drones were attempting to target an area where civilian infrastructure is located. Now, this is just the latest sign that Ukraine's counteroffensive is underway. Meantime, in an exclusive interview with CNN's Aaron Burnett, Ukrainian President Zelensky making clear that Ukraine's path to a NATO membership relies heavily on President Biden's immediate support.
The U.S. decide today whether Ukraine will get invited to NATO. This is today's situation, and it's a fact. The majority of the NATO countries support inviting Ukraine to NATO. Those who have their doubts look only at President Biden, and he knows that this depends on him. It will be his decision.
So he has a decision to make coming into this weekend.
Yes, for today, yes. He's a decision maker for today to be Ukrainian NATO or not to be.
Right. Not down the line, now.
Now. It's very important. It will push Russia. It will push our soldiers to the occupation quicker. But we know that we will never be in NATO before war finish.
Right.
So we understand everything. But this signal is really very important and depends on Biden's decision.
And all this past week, the International Criminal Court was setting up that, phony baloney joint investigation team sub-court to go and convict every single Russian of crime of aggression. They're really doing this.
Did she ask him the question that would come to mind, which is in the NATO charter? No nation that is currently in a border conflict. Any conflict.
I think it's border conflict specifically. I may be wrong.
Well, whatever. They're in a conflict.
Yeah.
A border and other.
Yeah.
Can join. They can't be part of NATO until this is resolved.
Yeah.
And Russia already came out and said, if we have to be in a conflict with Ukraine until the end of time to keep them out of NATO, that's what we'll do.
Yeah. I learned that...
What's the big deal about them being in NATO? How is that adding to the... I mean, they want Japan to join NATO now. I mean, it's out of control, these people.
It's everybody against Russia.
Well, and China, too.
Do you remember Saakashvili?
Name rings a bell.
Saakashvili was the president of Georgia.
Right. I do remember.
And so this guy is now, he's in jail in Georgia for crimes against the country because he basically was the Zelensky of the whole Georgia scam. Which to this day, people still say... We
covered on our show with great
2007,
detail.
2008. And people to this day still, you're wrong. Russia attacked Georgia. No, they didn't. It was the same border dispute. And this guy, he then went on to be in I think even the Zelensky government, or at least during the Maidan. So he was a part of that scam. And now this guy is in jail, and he looks like crap. It looks like he says he's being tortured, and the international community doesn't seem to care. So that should be a warning for Zelensky. Is if this doesn't go down the way everybody wants it, you're going to wind up pretty sick, man. It's not going to work out well for you. Because you should just see this. The shock is there was the guy who was eating his tie. He was a nut job. Remember that? He was just...
I vaguely remember him eating his tie.
Yeah, he was so nervous. He was sucking on the tip of his tie.
Yeah, he was like... he couldn't do it.
No, he couldn't hack it. He couldn't hack it.
He couldn't hack it.
He couldn't hack it, man.
As a stooge.
He could not hack it.
Hey, being a good stooge at that level...
Yeah, you got.
I don't know how anyone can hack it, to be honest about it. Don't ask me for that.
Let's see. Well, let's just come home for a minute here. There was all kinds of stuff happening this weekend. Of course, it was 4th of July weekend, and we had, it wouldn't be America news if we didn't have some shooting, someone shooting the place up. A lot happening in Philadelphia. We had the Liberty the Moms for Liberty conference, which I have a clip from. Of course, there was pride parades, and then we had this shooting.
This morning, days after police say this gunman opened fire randomly in a Philadelphia neighborhood, killing 5 people and wounding several others, including a toddler, the city is taking aim at so-called ghost guns, the kind of weapon allegedly used in Monday's attack.
One was an AR-15, the other was a 9mm. We've confirmed through our lab both of those weapons were privately made firearms.
The city is now suing 2 manufacturers of ghost guns. Those are weapons that can be purchased online and assembled at home, posing a major concern to police because the guns are untraceable and they can be bought without age or background checks.
The manufacturers attempted to avoid liability by claiming that it is selling parts, not guns. But the gun kits they sell can be assembled in minutes by virtually anyone.
Philadelphia has seen a 300% increase in the number of ghost guns used in crimes over the last 4 years. And nationwide, ghost gun recoveries are up nearly 1,100% since 2017.
The ATF doesn't know about them. You're required by federal law, once you make these guns, to call the ATF and register it with a serial number. That's not being done.
One of the ghost gun makers being sued has already faced multiple lawsuits in Los Angeles and Washington, D.C., amid growing concerns about gang violence.
They're going in the hands of gang members, convicted felons who obviously can't go buy a gun. So they're getting ghost guns.
The gun makers have not responded to the new lawsuit. As for the Philadelphia shooting suspect, authorities say he grew more agitated in recent days, posting messages about guns, liberals, and evil spirits. He's being held without bail.
So this is a very long report from ABC, bringing an old cow out of the canal, the so-called ghost gun.
Totally, you may go into this, but why'd they leave out the part that he's a trans femme?
That's the whole point. No. Was not trans. Was just a dude who liked to put on dresses. This is truly the reporting we're seeing.
They went out of their way.
Yep.
In fact, it's in the newsletter. I wrote this up in the newsletter.
Yep.
With a link to the New York Post article, which shows pictures of this guy who is
loony, Looney Tunes.
Loony.
He's
you
loony.
Just look at him and go, oh my God, why is this guy not in jail?
But, liberal, so now he's got to be a Republican. Of course, that's what all black men who wear dresses are all Republicans.
Yeah, of course.
Now, this is where shame on ABC and everybody else for doing this, because we're now seeing the result of mentally. I'm with you
100% of what you're going to say.
You just said 100%. I think that's
100%.
Obviously, we're not even going to apologize for people who have gender dysphoria, because we know that we're not stupid. This is social contagion. This is a trend. It's almost like
bad.
It's a very bad trend. And oh man, I got to play this. I got to play this clip, because this fits so in with your prediction that all of this trans Maoist stuff will end when the children who did not deserve to be abused by doctors and parents start start killing their parents for what they did to them. I think you are spot on. And they can't admit that something went wrong with this person. And, it's a result of a mental illness being misdiagnosed as trans. So Helen Joyce literally wrote the book on this. So I'm just going to call it mainly social contagion. And she nails it with her prediction of what is or not even prediction, her deconstruction of what parents who have done this to their children without, because they were tricked by the medical community and by peer pressure and by over-socialization and sadly over-education, that they will fight to the death to defend their choice.
Something that you may not have thought of is that there's a lot of people who can't move on this, because that's the people who've transitioned their own children. So those people are going to be like, the Japanese soldiers who were on Pacific Islands and didn't know the war was over.
Right.
They've got to fight forever. This is another reason why this is the worst social contagion that we'll ever have experienced. A lot of people have done the worst thing that you could do, which is to harm their children irrevocably because of it. Those people will have to believe that they did the right thing for the rest of their lives, for their own sanity and for their own self-respect. So they'll still be fighting. And each one of those people destroys entire organizations and entire friendship groups. Like, I've lost count of the number of times that somebody has said to me of a specific organization that has got turned upside down on this. Oh, the deputy director has a trans child, or, you know, oh, the journalist on that paper who does special investigations has a trans child, or whatever. The entire organization gets paralyzed by that one person. And it may not even be widely known at the organization that they have a trans child, but it will come out. Like, people will have sort of said it quietly, and now you can't talk truth in front of that person, and you know you can't. Because what you're saying is, you as a parent have done a truly, like, human rights abuse level of awful thing to your child that cannot be fixed. There are specific individuals who are really actively against women's rights here, and it's not known why they are, but I happen to know through the back channels that it's because they've trans their child. And so those people will do anything for the entire rest of their lives to destroy me and people like me, because people like me are a standing reproach to them. I don't want to be. I'm not talking directly to them. I don't spend my time bitching about them. But the fact is that just simply by saying we will never accept natal males in women's spaces, well, it's their son that we're talking about. And they've told their son that he can get himself sterilised and destroy his sexual function, and women will accept him as a woman. And if we don't, there's no way back for them and their child. They've sold their child a bill of goods that they can't deliver on. And I'm the one who has to be bullied to try to force me to deliver on it. So those people are going to be the people who will keep this bloody movement going, I'm sorry to say, because they've everything to lose. And it's a fight to the death as far as they're concerned.
Sadly, I think she's spot on. She nails it.
She is completely spot on.
And
which reminds me of some talk clips.
Oh, goodness. Well, can I just play one more clip?
No, play all you want.
Before we get to the talk clips.
These talk clips are good forever.
Yes, they are. So a group who is feverishly trying to stop this, certainly the unsupervised spread of this in schools, is the Moms for Liberty group, which is and, you know, I like them. I like the local Moms for Liberty. I've gotten some people saying, you're warned. You're warned.
Warned about what?
About them. Oh, well, these are crazy. These are crazy women.
Actually know. Okay, here's the question then. There's a group there in Fredericksburg, I take it.
Mm-hmm, yes.
Or in the area somewhere.
We have a Fredericksburg chapter, you bet.
And you actually have met?
I know them.
And talked to these people?
Some of them are friends of mine.
And you had made friends with a few. Has the person that is warning you ever met any of them?
Yes. Well, I think something happened to his wife, and she got excoriated or something, and so now I have to be warned. I mean, I'm sure there are nut jobs in every. Yeah, it's personal. In every group. But the Southern Poverty Law Center has come out and said, oh, it's a hate group. It's a hate group. It's a hate group. And then the M5M just tacks onto that. It's all purpose built because, it's trans-Maoism. It's a political movement over the backs and front sides of children, just to put it bluntly. It's a political movement. And then they come out and they talk to the over-socialized, undereducated, in this case, sadly, older Americans who go out and protest. Now, I was listening to some of the Moms for Liberty convention, which is also in Philadelphia. Vivek Ramaswamy was there with his family. By the way, I kind of like him. He's getting.
Oh, everybody likes him. You have to consider he has zero chance of getting anywhere.
Zero.
He's kind of like that. It was Wang or whatever that guy was, the Democrat last time.
Yes. Wang, yeah.
Wang, whatever his name was.
Was it Philip? No, it wasn't Philip. No, it's Young.
Well, that guy.
Wang Young. Not Young.
Young, yeah, great
Wang,
guy.
Wang Young.
So is this
Andrew Yang.
Yeah.
Andrew Yang. There you go. We got it, finally. Wang Young. Wang Chung. Andrew Yang. Hello?
He's likable.
Yeah. Vivek is very likable.
Wang was likable too. Young.
Yeah, Yang. No, Vivek is very likable, has some good thoughts. The first thing he wants to do is get rid of the Department of Education.
That's an old standby to get rid of.
Yeah. His wife.
It'll always be there so somebody can get rid of it.
Yeah, his wife spoke, and, and he was the first one to take the pledge, whatever the pledge is for the Moms for Liberty.
Don't take pledges.
But the Moms for Liberty, I've seen them in small town America, Fredericksburg, Texas, and they went into the library and said, no, not these. This, yes, not that. They kept the literal, I forget what Tina would know. There's a group out of Austin, and they are a consulting group, and they have therapists, and they wanted to come into the Fredericksburg school system. Now, we know exactly what those therapists do because they are mandated by the American Psychological Association. I think I'm saying it right. They're mandated. You ask a question, how do you feel? I don't feel good. You're a boy. That's pretty much. We have our own therapist.
I get it. I'm nauseated. You're a girl.
Our own therapists have told us this. And if you don't play along, just like COVID, then you lose your insurance, you lose your practice, you lose your license, you're out the door. So some of the very brave have told us this is what's happening. And, no one is really diving deep into that. I wish some M5M would. But anyway, so the media gets on it, and, they're all a part of it because they are funded by the pharmaceutical companies. They're all part of the pharmaceutical industrial complex. And they, talk about this hate group that are Moms for Liberty. And they were holding their conference in Philadelphia. And here's two grandmas who are out there protesting and, just listen to exactly how little they really know, but how much they've been propagandized into actually becoming haters themselves.
Can you tell me a little about what you're protesting today?
I'm protesting the Moms for Liberty group even being here at the Marriott. I was protesting last night when they were down at the Museum for the American Revolution because it gives some credibility when they're actually a hate group supporting divisiveness, supporting banning books, supporting harm to trans children or gays and lesbians, and I'm here to protest that.
I love how harm to trans and gays and lesbian kids when the harm is already being committed by the medical industry.
How about you? What are you protesting today?
Well, I've been hearing more and more about Moms for Liberty, and I think it's very scary given the state of our country right now that they are a growing right-wing group, and they've been named that. And, we have to do all we can to protect democracy, and they're doing everything that's the opposite. They're anti-gay, anti-trans, banning books that are so important for young people to have in their schools. They're going on school boards, even trying to go to school boards.
Oh, imagine that. They're harming democracy by going on school boards.
Board meetings, even where they're not members of that community. And I really think it's awful that they're here in Philadelphia and that they were able to come here and they're not.
Because, they're harming democracy.
About anything that we need right now in the United States.
What are some of the books that they're banning that you think should be in schools?
I don't know any of the titles, but I know there was one book I was reading about. I'm not good at recalling names at this stage, but there's one where there was just a mention at the very end of the book that Johnny is in a family with two moms, or Sam has a family with two dads, and because of that one line, they wanted the whole book banned, and they did ban it. And I think that's what's now. You've got children in those classrooms who will have two moms or two dads, and now they don't get to see themselves represented at all in any of the books that they get to read in that school. And I think that's what's wrong.
Yeah, okay. So that is obviously not the most egregious example. Because no,
you're right. They've been propagandized.
They've been propaganda, and I just want to say, the Moms for Liberty in Fredericksburg, Texas, we have gays. We got lots of gays. Gays running the Christmas shop. Gays running the best restaurant in town. They all go there. They all hang out with them. Hey, Richard, Jordan, how you doing? No one has a problem with gays. It's just not true. It's, man. What?
I want to play.
One more thing, and then you can play. I just want to prove that this is a trans Maoist. This is a political movement. This is the Philly Pride. He's a DJ at Pride in Philadelphia.
You
we talk about service and protection. We know what service and protection looks like, and that's not it. Detaining our comrades, locking people up who want to protect our First Amendment rights, who want to protect our young people, who want to protect our trans youth, who want to protect our queer elders, who want to protect black and brown lives and black and brown legacies. It's not throwing them in the back of a paddy wagon, it's disrupting hate. Hate has no home here, and if you bodyguard it, you have no home here. But you know what we have? We have the love of one another. Give it up for yourselves. Give it up for our comrades.
Yeah.
Our detained comrades. We love and appreciate you.
Yeah, give it up. Give it up
for you.
Give it up for yourselves, comrades. Give it up for yourselves, comrades. Come on, man. Come on, man. God save the Queen, man. Just give it up for the comrades. You're commies. Protect American democracy. Get rid of these commies.
TikTok, you don't stop. To the TikTok, you don't stop.
Talk TikTok.
This is along the lines of this other clip beside after the one you played before that one that I'm not going to tell you should have done something, but you should have run that last clip through Adobe.
Yes, correct. You are right. You are right. Correct.
Because I ran this clip through Adobe because I needed to get out the racket that was going on behind it. It cleaned it up beautifully. This is the gay complainer. This is a gay guy walking down the street making a bunch of racket. But this is the point of this clip is that it's been only a few lesbians, and we've played a few clips of them complaining about what's going on with trans Maoism. But the gay males haven't really got on board yet. This guy has.
I'm sorry, y'all, but if I hear one more person say that the reason conservatives are hating on Pride is because they're homophobic, I'm going to lose it. This here is a picture of a bunch of adults celebrating Pride with children in a fountain where clothing is optional. This here is an old man twerking in his underwear in front of children during the parade. It's not homophobic to say that Pride is about celebrating degeneracy and sexual activity more than it is about love and acceptance, because that's exactly what it is now. And the worst part about it is that people who don't know better, not to a fault of their own, will think that this is a reflection of all gay people when it's not. Like, I'm sorry that most of you guys probably don't get to take your clothes off in private because nobody's interested, but that doesn't give you free reign to do it in public in front of children. And people want to come after me for saying our community has privilege. If these people were straight, they would be arrested in an instant for indecent exposure. But because it's a pride parade, we're allowed to be naked in front of children. All I want is to be able to marry who I love, live my life free from discrimination, and to protect children from seeing naked people in the streets. I don't quite understand how in 2023 that's a controversial stance.
Oh, yeah. Well, he sounds a lot like Joshua from the Disaffected podcast. Our American gays are smart. They're a little quiet right now. You know, gay men.
Well, they don't want to be trans or TERFs, which is the... Yeah, they haven't come up with a term for the gays like this guy.
No. Yeah.
Like TERFs. Ooh, a TERF. She's a TERF.
Yeah. Well, as long as Kara Swisher is in control of the lesbians, we're not going to get anywhere.
Well, here's another guy. This is a dude with a wig and a one tooth that was mocked by some other podcasters, but I got to have this. This guy can't get a gynecologist, and here's his complaining.
This is a dude who can't get a gyno. Okay.
Need to be checked. You know, I mean, they got to use a speculum. They've got to take a sample, that type of thing, check for tears, blah, 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 right? I mean, makes sense. And so what they had said to me is like, well, we don't do that here. And I'm like, but you're a gynecologist office. Why wouldn't you? Well, we don't treat trans patients. So you're discriminating against me is what you're telling me. You know? My female doctor in Toronto would have taken you in a heartbeat. Damn. Yeah, it's fucking bullshit. I am pretty fucking pissed. You know, it's so hard to find a gynecologist that can even work with me, you know?
Oh man, this is insane. We just have to say it. This is insane. You know, Christina and Kevin,
this guy's totally nuts. Yes.
Christina and Kevin, they're in Rotterdam. And, you know, of course, I'm asking them, so what's going on? I say, oh, this is so annoying. Everybody's queer because they're afraid to be left out. So they have to be queer. They're not really anything. I just got to be queer. You know, so I can feel like I'm a part of it. So I'm a Q, which I remember used to stand for questioning, but then it turned into queer. And she says it's not slowing down. It's speeding up there. Not so many people who are transitioning, but just the whole well, we're just different. It's a trend. But they don't see it slowing down at all. It's just not a happy thought.
No, not at all. And I guess a lot of the non-binary stuff must be going on there too.
Oh, yeah. Tons of it. Yes.
And here I have, this is a classic American non-binary on this last, this is the last of this series.
Series. It's called that you just shooting fish in a barrel. This
clip is entitled "Another Non-Binary A-Hole," which is the conclusion I'm drawing by these arrogant non-binaries who are just that they look like a normal person, but they insist on this non-binary moniker and various pronouns, which are various.
I'm non-binary, but you look like a girl. Sure. So you admit it, you're a girl. Stop. Could it be possible that the way that I perceive myself may be different than the way that you perceive me? And when it comes to who knows more about who, don't you think that I might know more about what's going on with myself than you know about what's going on with myself? Then why don't you make yourself look more like a boy? Because first of all, I'm not a boy and I don't want to be a boy. Second of all, it is not non-binary people's jobs to look more ambiguous for you. Androgyny does not equal non-binary. And if non-binary looked like and was one thing, it would not be non-binary. Okay, so even though I think you look like a girl, you're not completely a girl? Yes. You're a girl.
Oh, goodness. These people are being set up for universal basic income. This whole thing is a setup.
You know what's interesting about that last clip? That's the same person obviously asking and answering the questions. This is actually schizophrenic.
Yes. Borderline personality disorder at best, which I can speak to because I know what that's like. Schizophrenia. It was nice to see Demi Lovato just acting like a girl again. Where was she? She was in Philadelphia. I'm sure she's whatever, but she at least wasn't like just nuts like she used to be for a moment there. And she has all kinds of psychological issues. Therapists of America and of the world, you need to stand up and you need to tell people the truth of what's happening. Because they're going to come after you too,
with a gun.
I mean, and I just
same kids, the same trans kids that are going to shoot their parents are going to shoot their doctors too.
Yes. So there was an article in the Portland newspaper. They arrive. Portland is becoming a haven for gender refugees. I'm just going to read a little bit, just so you can hear. It's sad. So,
was there a drought someplace, or a wind, or tornado?
They're running away from Austin. Okay, from Austin and Round Rock, which is Round Rock is basically a suburb of Austin. And so this is a lesbian family, two moms, and two moms. And I just this one little paragraph here I just want to read so you can hear all the bull crap, stuff that didn't even happen that they imagine in their minds. Cue the Welsh family. They came to Stumptown from Round Rock, just outside of Austin, one of the fastest growing cities in America. It may be Valhalla for guys like Elon Musk, but it's hell if you're trans. When his daughter... Oh, John Welsh. Interesting. When his daughter told the school she wanted to use the women's bathroom, the anti-queer book-banning group Moms for Liberty started protesting at school board meetings. They didn't call her out by name because they're not allowed to do that, but it was very clear it was about her. So right there's no evidence, but okay. Around the same time last year, Texas Governor Greg Abbott ordered the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services to investigate for child abuse parents who approve gender-affirming care for their transgender children, including puberty-blocking drugs. Welsh, his wife Kristen, and S had seen enough. They packed up their car and left for Portland, leaving family and friends behind. During the past month, WW is the magazine, spoke with families and individuals who made the same journey. If Portland is seeing an exodus of wealthy residents who are tired of high taxes that don't seem to fix anything, it may soon become a haven for people who have seen what else government can do to its citizens, oppress them. So then we get to this lesbian couple. My wife, that's the first time in a long time I can remember. No, that's not it. Crap, I clipped the wrong bit here. Where is it? Here we go. This is it. The Rodriguez family. Tiffany Rodriguez, 41, grew up in Texas, moved back to Fort Worth with her wife, Dana, to be close to her extended family when she added a new member, Penelope, now age 6. But after 6 years in San Diego, her home state felt dangerous for a lesbian couple. In Texas, we couldn't hold hands because you didn't know what would happen. They never did it. They didn't say like, we held hands and we got spit on. Or no, we didn't hold hands because you didn't know what would happen. Try it sometime. When her
you
daughter,
can say that about anyone in any place under any circumstances.
Rotterdam. When her daughter was born, she and her wife worried that the clerk would go rogue and refuse to put them both on their birth certificate, even though it's been required by law since 2015. So they were worried about
something. They're imagining
this. Being surrounded by Trump flags didn't exactly put her family at ease either, because you knew that a majority of your neighbors voted against safety of your family. Anti-trans legislation. A lot of the gays are Trump fans, the men. Anti-trans legislation combined with book bans.
You said the gays.
I said the gays. No agenda gays. Anti-trans legislation combined with book bans, in parens, Texas topped the nation in the second half of 2022 with 438, and laws that allow most adults to carry guns without a permit convinced Rodriguez it was time to shop for a new home. I mean, come on. You're imagining things that aren't really true. You've been psyoped.
You've been psyoped, that's for sure.
You've been psyoped. Yeah, it's just, I'm so sad
Pick
about
up the
this.
slack in Portland.
I'm so sad about this. Yeah, go enjoy Portland.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoy Portland. So, anyway.
Enjoy Portland. A lot of people enjoy Portland.
We got a good group in Portland. They like it. I don't know if they feel
people
surrounded.
You either like Oregon and Portland in particular or not.
No, you don't. Yeah. Anyway, so this is for political.
There's no sales tax in Oregon.
Good. For political reasons, this is being propagated through the media and is being handily taken care of by the already very powerful medical pharmaceutical industry, who learned how to do it during COVID, who set this up and got this rolling during COVID when your kids were most vulnerable at home, sitting on tablets and screens and being hijacked by creeps on Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter and Facebook and whatever else. TikTok. So.
All right, I think you made your point.
Yes. Moms for Liberty. Check them out. They're not that crazy. I'm sure there's going to be weird ones in every bunch, but I think that they are a political group. So to call a political group a hate group is actually the definition of being non-democratic. How's that?
All right.
But with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage. The man who put not one, not two, but 3 C's in cocaine hydrochloride. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to my friend on the other end, the one and only Mr. John C.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Andrew. Also in the morning, ship to sea, boots to the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water. And the dames and knights out there.
And in the morning to the trolls in the troll room. Did I even get a count? Oh, yes, I did get a count. No, hold on. Put your hands up, trolls.
Joke out.
They're running around, trying to get out of it. I got you. I got them. 2011.
Yikes.
Is that bad? Is that good?
That's way high.
That's way high?
Yeah.
Oh.
If you said 1750 to 1850, that would be the normal.
2011.
These go to 11.
These go to 11. Our trolls go to 11. Hello, trolls. The trolls know that they want to stick around for our special guest interview and the magic number, which always takes place. And of course, we always have special clips during the donation segment. They are listening as a part of their duty of value for value, meaning they sit in the troll room and troll along and tell me when I'm wrong and tell us when we're right and give us one-liners and remember things like Andrew Yang, important things. They're very helpful, and they are giving back, actually, in their own trolly way, but they're giving back because that's how it works. Value for value is a product that we deliver to you. You can do with it as you wish. You can copy it. You can take it. You can give it to other people. You can listen to it whenever you want to. You cannot listen to it. And if you get any kind of value out of it, which you'd expect if you listen to it for some time, you send that back with either time, talent, or treasure. And trolling is definitely a time waster. So we're happy that you are spending your time giving that back to us.
Wasting
away. And you can do that through trollroom.io. We prefer if you go to podcastapps.com. Thank you very much, Marcus Couch, for setting that up for us. He spent a lot of money to get that for us. Podcastapps.com and get one of those brand new modern podcast apps, which have a lot more than just your legacy podcast app like Apple. Forget Spotify. We're not even on Spotify. We refuse to be on Spotify because they make us sign a contract that gives them the rights to our content. That's not how podcasting works. Okay. So get Fountain, get Podverse, get Podcast Guru, Podcast Addict, get CurioCaster. All of them have this great new feature where you can get the show live when we go live. You can listen there. You got the troll room in there. It's fantastic. Or you can just, if you want to, go to trollroom.io and you can jump in there. You can also follow us on No Agenda Social, which may or may not become federated with Threads. Because that's what
it won't.
I can guarantee you that Aaroner is not going to federate with Threads. There's like a Mastodon Mastodon admin block. Go away,
non-starter.
Go away, Silicon Valley. We don't want you here. This is our little space, our little corner on the internet where no one can take us down. We can do whatever we want. The only one who can kick you off is me for bad memes.
And he's too lazy.
I am too lazy for it. So follow Adam at noagendasocial.com, John C. Dvorak at noagendasocial.com. And we love it when we have executive and associate executive producers who support us with their hard-earned treasure because they get value out of the show. It's incredibly important. Before we do that, though, we need to thank our artist for the album art for episode 1569. We titled that Hydrating. In hindsight, now I was out of it and I apologize because I was trying to get these kids on flights and everything was messed up and Kevin was being held at customs and they wanted to throw him into the little room. And so I didn't write down the obvious dog gobbler, which should have been the title, I think. Would you not have chosen dog gobbler?
I like hydrated.
Okay. We titled it Hydrating. Hydrated, hydrating. I don't remember what we did.
Hydrate.
Hydrating. It says it right
hydrating
here.
Or hydrate?
Well, it's hydrating on this. That's what it wound up being. I'm telling you, I was out of it. All my fault. Dame Kenny Ben brought us that artwork. Fantastic. We had a couple. We always like traditional stuff. We had a couple of choices with fireworks, and you actually selected a different one before I said.
I like Darren O'Neill's fireworks.
I know you did, but then but we looked.
Then you said, "Well, but let's look at the names are in the fireworks. They're in there, like built in."
With that voice,
and I said, "Oh yeah, that's kind of cute. It's cuter.
It's cuter
than Darren's simplicity." And so I said, "Okay, you talked me into it. It didn't take much."
No, you were sick of me at that point. You even left before I posted the show. Like, this.
Well, you were like, preoccupied with these kids that can't take care of themselves.
They can take care of themselves. They took care of them. I was just trying to help. I hadn't seen my daughter in a year and a half because of this nonsense.
Meanwhile, looking up on the other pieces up there's a really good piece by Coob the Boob, Happy Fourth, which is the frog and a boiling water with a sparkler, is a really nice piece that I don't remember.
I don't think that one was there.
Yeah, it had
when
to be.
We looked. No, I don't think so.
It was. I tell you, it's there because Uncle Sam 2 or 3 rows up with the masked face. Was there.
No, go to page number 2 and you'll see the Uncle Sam that you think you remember. Oh, maybe not. Am I wrong?
No, the one I remember is this one up here. And also,
we overlooked
some of these show up. you might be right about it wasn't there, but I've noticed this over the years, and maybe Couture can explain it.
That's
Some
weird.
pieces seem to show up.
I don't remember these crayon versions.
They show up, but they don't show up in order of their submittance.
Yes.
I do remember the NA Rockets with Dvorak Curry and the NA Nitrogen for All.
Yes, I remember that one. I used that one this morning.
And so these are below those.
Yeah, it was weird.
So you have to wonder if this one here, Happy Fourth by Koob the Boob, which is a very nice piece.
Maybe we just overlooked it, John. It's possible.
I think we overlook a lot. Because we get fixated on a couple of our faves.
Maybe we should bring in some helpers.
No.
No. Hard no. Pass. Not going to happen. Well, thank you very much, Tanta Neil. We appreciate the work that you did. And, of course...
Way giving it to Tanta Neil was Dame Kenny Ben.
That's what I said, Dame Kenny Ben. Dude, give me a break.
No, I'm giving poor Dame Kenny Ben a break.
Dame Kenny Ben, thank you very much. We appreciate it. We appreciate the work of all of our artists.
She hates me,
Well, that's not hard to imagine, but why?
I don't know.
What do you mean? I said. You can't just throw that out there and just
It was sometime, I think it's because I blocked her on the No Agenda social because of something, and then she got mad at me. And or something I said about her art, or I said something.
Hey, memo, you're not that loved. Just a memo.
Huh.
Here's my typical email during the day. John blocked my email. Hey, I tried sending John an email, but he's blocked me. And and it's not you blocking them. You just get that rap because people don't actually read the block message where it says, "Hey, you got blocked for a word," and it sometimes will even tell you what the word is. It doesn't say you blocked me. I hate you.
It's true.
They're using profanity, which, let's be honest, your email server is pretty tight on what passes through. So, no. I'd wind up dealing with most of it.
Well, thank you.
You're more than welcome.
They can't get through to me.
You're more than welcome. Now, let us thank our executive and associate executive producers for episode 1570. And
before we do that, I want to do the clip of the segment.
Oh, the clip of the donation segment. Here we go. We need a jingle for that. All right.
I think this is a good clip. This wraps up the world, I think, in a nutshell. This is from the Geeks and Gamers podcast, and it's a description of movies.
Most movies are dog shit, especially Disney movies. They just are.
There you go.
I can't believe that Hollywood screwed Tom Cruise out of releasing Mission Impossible on the 4th of July weekend. They decided Oppenheimer was the movie which no one went to see. Oppenheimer, it's about the nuclear bomb or some boring crap like that.
It's boring, yeah. Well, we all know about Oppenheimer. If we know about him, we don't care about the movie. And other people never heard of him, so what difference does it make?
Exactly.
And Tom Cruise is under, I don't know, people just don't, I don't know what it is. The guy's a genius movie maker.
He runs a studio, doesn't he? Doesn't he still run the studio?
I think he does. I don't know if he runs that studio anymore, but when he was running it, they were making lots of money. The guy is a money maker, born money maker. And it's like everything he touches turns to gold. And then they pull a stunt like this.
I really don't understand why that. But meanwhile, Sound of Freedom, which is I have to see. It's about it's a true story of a guy who actually. I have a clip. Hold on a second. Where's my clip? Here it is with an endorsement from Mel Gibson.
One of the most disturbing problems in our world today is human trafficking, and particularly the trafficking of children. Our future is our children. Now, the first step in eradicating this crime is awareness. Go see Sound of Freedom.
So Sound of Freedom, produced by Angel Studios, small little studio, did the Jesus Revolution movie, opened to a $20 million box office opening. Completely unexpected. And, this is a true story of something, it's really horrific. And you got to think it's not coincidence that Madonna collapses the same week that this movie comes out. I think there's a shortage of adrenochrome. Okay, thank you very much. I worked on that all week.
You've been waiting. The timing was good.
Yeah, I try my best. Okay, let me open up my notes here, because right off the top we love it. He comes in usually about once a month. Our very own Sir Anonymous of Dogpatch on Lower Slobovia. We never really understand his notes. We don't really, we understand his notes, but not his amounts. And he came in with $2,411.
These go to 11.
No, maybe there's something with 11. I know, 411. Maybe it's just
we double counted it to make sure that was the exact number.
And did he have? So he didn't have $2 bills this time. Did
he did. He had 3 of them.
Oh, wow!
And a $5.
Wow, that guy's so cool. He really lifts us up in so many ways, and we appreciate it. I have his note here from Sir Anonymous of Dogpatch on Lower Slobovia. Thank you to and all producers. That's you people, for making this such a remarkable source of current news reporting. That's right. We have all kinds of boots on the ground, people sending us clips from their local countries and states and news stations. It really makes the show. And he adds, the new Bingit.io is a great resource for anyone looking for information. Thank you to those that worked on the latest upgrade. Well, that's Sir Denonymous who did that by himself. I encourage any political operative that uses this as a source of quotes for advertising returns value for value to the show. That's right. The same for other users of this wonderful source of historical statements by many political leaders. A belated Eid Mubarak for those of us that celebrated Eid al-Adha. Is that how I pronounce it? Adha? El-Adha?
I think.
And I might as well. This is one of our producers who was using the Bingit.io search engine, which now searches every single show, every transcript we have of everything we've ever said. And this is from episode number 11. There's something about the 11s today. So this cannot be coincidence that he is saying this with a 2411, 11, goes to 11.
These go to 11.
Listen to what we were talking about in 2007 on episode 11 of the best podcast in the universe, which I think at that point, was it already the best podcast in the universe?
No.
We were on the way up, though.
We were on the way.
It was only 53 minutes long at that point. Here we go.
It wasn't the best. It was good, but not the best.
You can also hear the sound quality a little different.
Just back to the flu for a second. We were talking about that earlier in the week. And you said something really interesting after I made a comment. You said it would be a great theme for a book. And this is a theory that I've had for a long time, is that, every season, I'm sure some pharmaceutical conspiracy throws shit into the air so that they can go sell all the antidote.
And I know you said that. And it's a nut job thing to say, but I was thinking, wow, wouldn't it actually be a bad idea for a book or a crappy, TV show or something like that?
Or an actual op on the world.
Yeah.
See how good this
beyond a good book.
We were already on the way.
It was a moneymaker for anyone investing in Moderna.
We were already well on the way to being the best podcast in the universe just by predicting the future. It happens all the time. All the time. Thank you very much, Sir Anonymous of Dogpatch and Lower Slobovia. We really, really appreciate it.
Our next donor is something of an enigma.
Oh.
And it's James Gemmell, Gemmell, if that's his name. Because this donation, which is $2,398.27.
Oh, man. Happy 4th of
July. Came in as a check. Mm-hmm. Nice big check. But it was weird because it was postmarked in Australia, sent from Australia, with no return address, and a strange-looking piece of tape on the back. And I want to stop here and mention that. And I feel so bad about it because of this tape that was on the back. When I opened the envelope I ripped it open and I tore through one of the prettiest Australian stamps.
Oh.
Yeah, I ripped right through like an idiot. And I felt bad about that. But so it's an it was postmarked from Australia. He's listed in London, but the check was a New York check.
Wow.
And the New York check was not a normal-looking check either. It looked unusual. And so I have to just assume that this is a check from MI6. So thank you, MI6, for giving us, finally, contributing to the best podcast in the universe.
It's about time.
It was, like I said, mailed, and there was a piece of paper in there covering up the check, but there was no note.
No note?
So we can give him a double up karma if we're. I don't think that would be a bad thing.
No, I'm a little disturbed. I without a note, that seems so wrong. I would really like to have a note.
No note. But I, in my case, the way I see it, fine with me.
And also, I don't think we've ever seen a donation from Gemmel. Any Gemmel? Have you? I don't remember any Gemmel. I can't find any correspondence.
No, there's no Gemmel.
Well, let's do a de-douching and a double up karma, just to make us feel better.
The de-douching, yeah.
You've been de-douched.
You've got karma.
Troll Room suggests this is a money penny donation. I like it.
Could be. You never know.
I like it. Thank you.
We don't know.
We go on to Mark Murphy, who is in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. 1,570. This is a long absent show number donation. He actually, I believe he came in with 1,569 for the previous show, missed the cutoff, and he sent
he only missed it by a few hours, but he did miss it.
And he sent an extra $1 to make the show number donation 1,570. Beautiful. He says, "Dear Messieurs Curry and Dvorak, your Cal Ripken caliber consistency does not go unnoticed." Wow.
That's a reference you don't get.
No, would you please explain it?
Cal Ripken, a baseball player, played more consecutive games in the history of the Major League Baseball than any other player. He was an Iron Man. He just played and played and played and played and played and played. But he was high quality, too. He wasn't like a slouch. So he's very famous to this day.
Oh, well, how nice.
That's what we do. We never miss a show, and we worked on the 4th of July weekend.
Well, of course we did. I mean, that's what we do. We appreciate it. He says, while my IMDb remains TBD, that, of course, is for his executive producership credit, I look forward to dropping the executive producer flex on my brand new Instagram at Mark on the Universe. That's all one word. Instagram.com/Mark on the Universe. He will be putting his executive producer flex there, and he would like the title Sir Mark on the Universe. Granted. And lastly, he says, a meetup announcement, Sunday, July 15th, 7 o'clock at South Point Park in Miami Beach. For more information, go to noagendameetups.com and RSVP. I guess he's doing it at his home for extra flex. Very nice, Sir Mark. The future Sir Mark coming up on the universe. We appreciate it. And thank you for breaking the spell of no show episode donations. Very nice.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Jeffrey Wolf in Edmond, Oklahoma comes in with 54321, which is a fave of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, thanks for the show. I could use a little health karma if you wouldn't mind. I thought I was fit and ready to take on the world, but during a race I had some chest pain. Ended up with a stent.
Oof.
Can't wait to get recovered and racing again.
All right, Jeffrey, here's some health karma for you, my friend.
You've got karma.
Onwards to Matthew Parr, Wilmington, North Carolina, 500. Thank you so much. Thanks, John and Adam, for continuing to open my eyes about the world around us. Here is some hard-earned treasure to keep the good times rolling. Please send some goat karma. He wants some, people hear it like, oh, I heard that funny, that Trump, I'm going to come jingle, so we need to have that one again. Yeah, no problem. We got that one. And would like, you're going to need Bitcoin by Manning. So we got that for you.
I'm going to come.
They're saying that all hell is going to break loose, and you're going to need a Bitcoin.
You've got karma.
William Levenberg in Los Angeles, California, 36363. Now I'm officially Sir Turkey, like the No Agenda, like the NTD jingle.
Okay.
Please have lab-grown turkey meat dripping in extra bovine syrup at Round Table. Please give me double tax karma if this wasn't the best pod in the universe. How did you finesse 1K from a millennial like me? So he gets knighted today.
Yeah, good point. Okay.
Yeah, how did we finesse 1K from a millennial like me?
How did we do that?
This is NTD.
Oops. Oop. I should do that again. Hold on. Misfire of the day. No one asked me for the NTD jingle. That's something new. Let's try that again.
This is NTD.
You've got karma.
There you go. Just let me put his request in here. I forgot to tell the staff that we needed that at the round table. The lab-grown turkey meat. Turkey meat. We're on to Dame Mariella from Prineville, Oregon. My favorite donation number, 333.33. In the morning, John and Adam, for the 6th year in a row, I am delighted. 6th year in a row. I'm delighted to be sharing some treasure with you both in honor of the anniversary of my unlikely survival of a brain aneurysm. Yes, July 8th of 2017. We remember it well. Listening to the show during my 2-month-long hospital stay kept me grounded during a period of perpetual memory loss and continues to be a pillar of my sanity. Please remember, producers, No Agenda is your twice-weekly vitamin for brain health. To skimp on this supplement would be a fool's errand. If I recall, wasn't she suspended upside down?
I don't remember how. I do remember her being in the hospital and thanking us previously. That listening to the show, 6 hours of the show a week, was helping her kind of in one way or another. And I don't remember the details, but yes. Well, I do remember.
I don't know if it was her or, someone was suspended upside down. Anyway,
somebody could have been. It wouldn't surprise me. Or even in your back bedroom, there's possible.
We are so happy that you are still with us, Dame Mariella. Requesting some new human resource karma. Oh no, hold on. No super long note this year. Just wanted to give thank you to you both and give a shout out to my handsome husband, the deaf, dumb, and blind knight, who finally gets his first human resource this December after 3 long years of trying. Hello, are we good or what, John? We kept her alive. We got her pregnant. I'm sorry. Yep. We are
boom.
Good. We are boom. We are requesting some new human resource karma of the French bulldog variety, if time permits. Yes, ISIS in America because it makes me dance in my car. Happy summer. Much love, Dame Mariella of the anterior communicating artery.
Ow! ISIS. We will follow them to the gates of hell. ISIS. You've got karma.
Anonymous comes in for good reason from Highland Park, Illinois, 333.33. As a high school English journalism teacher, I find your show note archive and M5M analysis an invaluable weapon in the fight against indoctrination.
Nice. Thank you.
It's bad out here, fellas. I could use some health karma and an fuck cancer with love.
Oh, you got it. Well, with love, does he sign off? He must sign off somewhere.
That doesn't look like it.
Well, with love back at you.
You've got karma.
All right. We go to Justin Nelson Price from Blacksburg, Virginia, 324.26. There must be a reason for this. Let me go to the note. Where do we find Justin Nelson? Is it the top one? Do I have it here? Oh, here we go. Dear Adam and John, I'm donating today to celebrate my completion of college at WGU. Where is that, WGU? Where is that?
WGU?
Yeah. Western.
I don't know.
Something. Okay. We got a degree in computer science. Now I'm a graduate, and there's no better time than to become a knight of the No Agenda Roundtable. With this donation, I will reach the threshold for knighthood. See my accounting below for donation totals. I would like Diet Dr. Pepper and Buffalo hot wings with avocado lime ranch dressing at the round table. Please knight me, Sir Tech Wizard. Thank you both and all the producers for truly making this the best podcast in the universe. That's a fact. It's in the Durham Report. Jingle requests. I'd like some Jobs Karma, Fauci Wheeze, and Trump Space Force.
Space Force.
Jobs, jobs,
That's a good
and
one.
jobs. Let's vote.
That is a good one.
I like that.
You've got karma.
DW from Lake Mary, Florida. We have no note from DW, man or woman or in between. $300. Give them a double up karma.
You've got karma.
And we go to Paul Yassé. Paul is in Medway, Massachusetts. Short row of ducks, 22, 22, 22. Oh, switcheroo for my smoking hot fiance to reach damehood for her birthday. Please dame her as Dame Jennifer, protector of the paperbacks. We'll have coffee and pancakes at the round table and would like goat karma for our wedding. Now, that's a wedding gift right there, people.
You've got karma.
I'm going to say Jennifer, yes.
Onward with Rami McKinney in Norfolk, Virginia. 2222, another row of ducks. See attached note, which is actually an attached card. And that's when I shake it. You can't barely hear it. Doesn't make a lot of racket. Nice handwriting. Nice long hand.
Indeed.
Or cursive, as they like to say nowadays.
Cursive, yes.
Well, it used to be called longhand when I was a kid. Sorry it's been so long since. It's kind of like Tina's handwriting, which is quite nice.
Yes.
This looks a lot like it.
Tina has very
Since I
nice
last
handwriting.
donated. Thanks for all you do, Rami. That's it. Boom.
All right. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Then we go to Dan Doring in Eolia, Missouri. I think that's correct. 207 and 10 cents. Switcheroo. This will be for my smoking hot fiance, Jamie, for our anniversary on July 10th. Happy 3 years, babe. I hit her in the mouth on our first date, and she loved it, and I knew she was a keeper. Thank you for your courage. Cheers from Dan During. We put Jamie as the switcheroo. All right. This is good. These are beautiful. These are just so beautiful.
Sir Goost Cadaver.
Goost Cadaver.
In Deurne, Netherlands. $200. Donation show 1569 Sir Goost. Nothing more, nothing less.
All right, Goost, thank you very much.
Give him a double up.
All right, we'll give him a double up, no problem.
You've got karma.
And we have our final donation. Associate Executive Producer Gina Petaris in Fuquay-Varina. I think I said it right. North Carolina, 200, as I said. I just, in the morning, John and Adam, I discovered No Agenda during COVID when I heard Adam on Joe Rogan. Rogan donation. I was thrilled to find out that I could still listen to my favorite VJ's voice multiple times a week. Since then,
an old fan.
Yes, I have them. Since then, your old fans have pocket protectors.
Mine always have pocket protectors, but I'm going to use that voice. It's that voice. Ooh, fan. That is Norman from the old Jack Benny show.
No, another anachronism. Thank you.
Exactly.
Since then, I haven't missed a second of the best podcasting universe. I've never skipped a donation segment or listened at high speed. This is why you're going to heaven. I'm ashamed that I have not donated sooner, but July 6th is my birthday, and I can think of no better gift than supporting No Agenda for all the value it provides every week. Adam, on a personal note, when I found out about your Tourette's, I felt like it was a sign from God. How about that? Yes, I think I mentioned it on that first Rogan show. It's like, dude, I'm ticking around here just so you know I got Tourette's. I felt like it was a sign from God. My eldest daughter developed a tic disorder at 7 years old. Same age as me, which I have to kind of, these days, I think I associate it with vaccination. I mean, I'm not blaming anybody, but 7 years old.
What happened at 7 when you were 7? What happened?
That's when
you got vaccinated?
We moved to the Netherlands. So we had to have shots. And it happened when I was 7. And the tic started when I was 7.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
It's possible.
It's very possible. That tic disorder or Tourette's syndrome. I mean, I think I was also genetically disposed.
Does anybody else in the family have Tourette's?
My dad definitely had some Tourette's.
Okay. Well, that's probably what it was.
No, blame it on the vaccine.
May have been triggered by the vaccine.
Yeah, I think so too. Anyway, her daughter developed a tic disorder at 7 years old. There was a very dark time where I wasn't sure how she would be able to function. But thankfully, she's now a successful, happy, and thriving college sophomore, and I thank you for being such an open and positive role model. How about that?
Well,
I'm a positive role.
She knows. Yeah, well, one good thing about Tourette's, if there's any good thing, is that it makes people very well organized and kind of neat freaks, which is very good to have those habits when you're in college. You get
superpowers. Everybody gets a different superpower. I have amazing reflexes, very fast reflexes. And I've always said, if your child has Tourette's, just talk about it openly. Hey, that was a good one. Stuff like that. And just talk. There's so many people who have tics, famous people. And when you start to pay attention.
Oh, they're all over the place.
They're all, and
most of them are in denial, by the way.
A lot of them are. But the ones that there are a lot of very successful people with tic disorder and Tourette's. So join the crowd. Join the tickers. I'm the hero of the tickers. That's right. I would love a biscuit on my birthday and jobs karma for my husband and all those affected by the tech layoffs. Thank you, John and Adam, for your time and talent. This might be my first donation, but it won't be my last, and therefore she gets a de-douching. Thank you very much, Gina.
You've been de-douched.
They always give me a biscuit on my birthday.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
All right, that wraps up our executive and associate.
Well,
what?
Before we discontinue.
Before we discontinue the show.
Before we continue, I do want to go back to last show.
You do, huh?
I do want to go back to last show.
Okay.
Which is the note that I had misplaced for the $350 donation from Millennial Fred.
Thank you for remembering. That's very good of you.
And he had the two questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, what is that term they have?
It's a Dutch term.
In Holland, it's a Dutch term. It has to do with ants.
Oh, mierenneuken.
That's what we're talking about here. So here we go.
Ant effing, yes.
I have three questions for Adam. Please do not read the provided answer for each question until after Adam provides an answer.
Wait a minute. Is this a multiple choice?
No.
So this
you
is
just
a
have
test.
to answer or say I don't know, and then we can get this out of the way.
This is a test because he has answers.
Test.
Okay, I'll just tell me it's a test. All right.
What is the name of the country you live in?
The United States of America?
Wrong.
What is the country I live in?
In the Declaration of Independence, the following is written: United States of America, where the letter U is in the word is united is lowercase. The word united is used as an adjective and not part of the country's proper name. Therefore, the proper name of the country is States of America.
Wow, you got me. You stumped me.
Question number 2.
All right, number 2.
How is the United States legally defined?
As a corporation.
Yeah, a federal corporation. You got that right. According to 28 U.S.C. 3002 is 15A.
That's right. It's a big ass LLC.
Yeah.
It's an S corp.
It's an S corp.
It's an S corp.
Question 3. Are the local, county, and state governments legitimate?
Oh, no. I'm sure nothing is legitimate. Was that right?
Well, he doesn't really answer, but he says, according to Dun & Bradstreet, the experts, these governments are also corporations. I have provided double-sided printouts. He sends a pile of paperwork.
So this is, I know what he's doing. This is one of these guys who was, I've read through all this. It's fantastic. It's like, there's two Americas. There's the one with all the uppercase letters. Right? That's the incorporated one where when you're born, your social security number makes you belong to them. And then there's the phony one, which we all think of, apple pie and Betsy Ross and the flag. It's fantastic, and I'm sure
we've
it's all
never
true.
heard this before. This is new.
What part?
The point is that this is a ongoing conversation that started. I don't know. First time I heard it was maybe 30 years ago.
Yeah, probably.
And it's always the same kind of guy. You're talking about your pocket protector guy. But I was reading this with the family, and I said, Millennial Fred, good luck with this. You'll get this will get you a lot of dates.
No, the last guy who was all into this, Wesley Snipes. He spent 5 years in jail?
Yeah, he ended up in jail. The problem, I knew a guy like this, and he says, we're just it's bull crap. The IRS is voluntary.
It's voluntary. I don't owe
My
taxes.
favorite thing. The IRS is voluntary. You don't have to pay.
It's john@dvorak.org for all your proofs. All your proofs that it's
I don't want
voluntary.
any proofs. I've heard all the arguments, and I forget it.
Oh, and
it
already,
may be voluntary, but I'm paying anyway.
I'm sorry.
I look at it as like when I go to the post office. There's a woman out there that begs for money, and I always give her some money. It's the same thing.
By the way,
I don't have to pay her. Give her money.
I've been corrected. He went to prison, not to jail. So, all right. This is the definition of Meet-A-Noka, people. Good work. If you'd like to Meet-A-Noka with us, send your note and your donation to
Dvorak.org/NA.
He went to prison, not jail.
Thank you very much to all of our executive and associate executive producers for producing this show.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
And these are real credits. You can use them anywhere, for sure. There we go.
Shut up.
Oh, what a train wreck. All right. Hey, one of the most entertaining donation segments we had in a while, I think. Multiple clips.
Giving it a 10. Yeah.
I'm giving it an A-, yeah, for sure.
I have some clips that kind of back up in an offhanded way your basic thesis about the future.
Okay.
And I'm not fond of having to play these, but because I'm not convinced that everything we're going to hear is accurate.
Okay.
But this is Nigel Farage.
Yes. It's interesting that, of course, I'd seen this, and I was like, well, to me, this is all such old hat, and I didn't even.
It's better coming from me than you.
It is. I agree, and I appreciate it.
But and I have there are some issues. There's some plot holes, as it were, plot holes in his story.
It's a bit like shitholes, only with plots.
It's a plot hole. And here we go. 1, 2, how many I got 3 of these clips.
Woo.
And it's Nigel's current problems with the banks.
2 months ago, I received a phone call from my bank. Now, bear in mind, I'd been with the same banking group since 1980. I've had my personal account there with that group ever since that date. I ran my business through there when I worked in the city in the 1990s into the noughties, and today I have my personal and business accounts there. But 2 months ago, I get a phone call out of the blue from a personal manager, a new personal manager, not one I'd ever spoken to before, who simply says on a phone call, "We are closing your accounts." I asked why. No reason was given. I was told it would all be explained in a letter that would arrive in a couple of days' time. The letter just told me the accounts are closing, and please, by the date they gave me, make sure you've moved to another bank. I did inquire further within the group. I sent an email to the chairman, and I got someone ring me up and say it's purely a commercial decision. I thought. So I've tried for 2 months to get another bank account, and I've spoken to 7 different banks, and they've all said no. And the reason is, it would seem to be political. I don't know precisely what the reason is, but there is a category of person called a PEP, a politically exposed person. It was a term that came into our law as a result of our membership of the European Union. I'm told that the city minister and the government are thinking about redefining it, but that may take some time. So it could be purely political. It could be, of course, prejudice. After all, I'm pretty used to prejudice that comes from the establishment against me.
No, he's unbanked.
He's unbanked. And by this politically exposed person moniker, PEP.
I had not heard of this.
I had never heard of that either, but I can see it being. But why would a bank care?
Well, I mean, they unbanked Kanye West for being a pepper. They unbank people all the time.
I guess so. Well, here we go with part 2, which makes it even more interesting, the second half of this.
But I also worried very much that what was said in the House of Commons last year by Chris Bryant, Member of Parliament for South Wales, Labour member, Chairman of the Privileged Committee, who used parliamentary privilege to say that in a calendar year I'd received £500,000 from the Kremlin. This was done under parliamentary privilege. I appealed to the Speaker, I appealed to Mr. Bryant, but there've been no retraction whatsoever. There have also been extraordinary headlines written about me in all of the newspapers, some suggesting that on the night of the Brexit referendum, I engineered a coup along with the hedge funds where we pushed the pound up, shorted it, and we all made a fortune. Well, I'm afraid that isn't true either. But whatever reason, it's become clear to me that I cannot get a bank account. But what does that mean? Well, it means that basically you've become a non-person. It's rather like living in Germany or Russia 80 years ago, or perhaps even communist China today. I wonder, are we living in communist China today in this country? Are we akin to communist China? Well, all of this has been quite stressful and quite difficult, because without a bank account, you simply can't exist, you simply can't live. But what's even worse is that over the course of the last few months, some of these ridiculous rules and closures have been extended to my immediate family. And whilst I'm sad and annoyed about where I am, I'm absolutely incandescent that members of my family should be singled out and targeted just because I campaigned for and pushed a Brexit campaign for all of those years. This is truly and utterly disgusting. But it isn't just happening to me. I know of people going back nearly 10 years who were UKIP candidates, UKIP MEPs, others in prominent positions in the Brexit Party who also had their bank accounts closed.
Just a little side note. UK retail banking is not at all like the US, where we have over 4,000 retail banks and credit unions, and it's much more decentralized. It's very centralized in the UK, and getting blackballed by the banks is not uncommon. It's just not. Now, can you literally not survive? Well, I don't know. Yeah, it's probably difficult. I mean,
I'm sure it causes issues.
Issues, yes. I'm sure it causes issues for sure. Yes. So I'm curious what the resolution of this 3-clip series is.
Well, he kind of like confuses the issues with the last third of this, and we can talk about it after he's done.
But none of them really had the voice to speak out. And I feel that I do. There are other people in media, too, who've had their media accounts closed down. And it seems to be all one way. It seems to be all against people who have traditionalist or conservative views. There is something totally outrageous going on here. So I've been considering over the course of a day my options. I've spent time talking to lawyers. I've been considering legal action. I've been asking myself whether, frankly, it's even worth staying in this country. I could go to one of the fintechs and I could get the ability of at least a payments mechanism, but it's not a bank account. It doesn't have a debit card. It wouldn't pay you interest on money, and you certainly wouldn't be able to borrow any money or get a mortgage if you wanted one in the future. So I've been seriously considering my options. And I said earlier on today that at 7 o'clock tonight, I'd tell you what my next steps were. Well, you could knock me down with a feather, because the phone rang at 7:15, and it was the bank that wants to close me down completely in a few weeks' time. They claim there's nothing political at all in what they're doing. It's purely a commercial decision. And it was said to me on the phone a few minutes ago, they could get me a personal account with another bank that is part of the same group, but that doesn't apply to the business account, so frankly isn't of much use to me. I'm used to battling against the odds. I'm used to being prejudiced against in the most extraordinary way. And I'm generally pretty tough in fighting through these things. But just for once, I'm really pretty thoughtful about whether it's actually worth living in this country right at the moment. So what I am going to do is take some time off, take a week or two off, maybe more, to consider what my next steps are going to be. This is going on in our country. It's happening to plenty of people. I just happen to be one of them. But you know what? Unless this rot is stopped, in time to come, you at home may say things on Facebook or Twitter that may result in you losing your bank accounts too. That, I think, is how scary this whole thing is.
Well, I just want to stop Nigel right there, which is good because the clip is over. That's wrong about Twitter. Twitter will gladly be your bank account, and Elon has just now received 3 money transmitter licenses for U.S. payment services, so he's on his way.
I should also mention that, and I think Twitter would probably fall into this category when he finally gets this thing finalized. It's fintech, which is Nigel threw out there as well. It's not going to do me any good to have anything to do with them. But that's not true. You can get credit cards and checking and all kinds of things through a fintech operation. There's a bunch of them out there, and they pay interest that is often quite high. Well, it's not insured by any means.
Which fintech are you talking about?
I think it was SoFi, Sofitech, or just one. I looked into a couple of these companies, and the problem is there's no insurance.
No,
but the reason there's no, but they pay 5 or 6% interest on any deposits that you make. Yeah. I haven't looked into it enough that I can speak to it.
Right,
but I can say that he's maybe a little wrong on that. The other part is, why wouldn't he want at least to get a personal account back so he could have credit cards and other things? So he must do everything through his business account. So he's like a walking business.
Yes.
I have to assume that.
Yes, he is a walking business.
So this is like, I guess, true.
Well, this is a foreshadowing of the future.
It's a bad thing.
This is the future. This is where it's going. Now, these are, of course, like Kanye West. Oh, it's just a business decision. No one wants Kanye West at their bank, and no one at all. I'm sure he found some haven somewhere. But what's interesting is the minute this is happening, things are moving and shaking in the business.
They're saying that all hell is going to break loose, and you're going to need a Bitcoin.
Now, normally you would scoff at this, but the CEO of BlackRock, who doesn't know them, Larry Fink, $10 trillion of assets under management, and then another $5 trillion of the government he's just swathing around, pretty much runs a whole bunch of stuff. They have filed for a Bitcoin ETF, and he went on Fox Business yesterday, with a very low viewing channel at a low viewing time. He did like a 10-minute interview, and he was just singing the praises of Bitcoin. It was unbelievable. I have a 50-second clip, which is not the best, but at least it gives you a little bit of. There's some interesting bits in here.
And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold in many ways. Instead of investing in gold as a hedge against inflation, a hedge against the onerous problems of any one country, or the devaluation of your currency, whatever country you're in. Let's be clear, Bitcoin is an international asset. It's not based on any one currency. And so it can represent an asset that people can play as an alternative. I would call the foundation of BlackRock is about hope. You invest for retirement because you believe tomorrow is better than today.
I knew you would like that. Hope? What hope? So he puts hope into Bitcoin, and he sees it as a valid asset. And it seems like that's, as I've always predicted, will be the only crypto that will survive the SEC.
Well, I can believe it might be the only crypto that survives everything, but I think this is, to me, jumping the shark. And I don't like this guy, and I don't like his operation. I don't like his company. I don't like him, State Street, and the other one, Vanguard. Those three operations are all the same. And they're trying to change culture in this country, and they're anti-American.
I agree with you, and I find it not a positive development that they are putting an ETF in place for Bitcoin. But that's what it is. Yes, and
it is what it is.
And they even tried to push him on the ESG thing. So I'm not saying that word anymore because it's negative, even though he started it. And he did start it.
Yes, or he started DIE, didn't he? Or
no, ESG was really their thing.
Okay,
really their thing. It doesn't matter. Because we're all going to die anyway.
Scientists say Tuesday was the hottest day ever recorded on Earth. The average global temperature hit 62.9 degrees.
Wait until you hear the very end kicker of this clip. Hottest day ever on Earth of all time.
Surpassing the previous record set 1 day earlier.
We're going to continue to break records as climate change continues until that point where emissions and greenhouse gases are no longer accumulating in the atmosphere.
Historic heat has been reported this summer from Quebec, Canada to northern China. In the U.S., more than a dozen heat-related deaths in Texas alone. In Death Valley, California, where temperatures have hit 126 degrees, a man was found dead in his car this week. The low temperature at night, 98. One major factor, the return of El Nino, a natural climate pattern warming the surface of the Pacific, which scientists say when combined with human-caused climate change could very well be a perfect storm.
Now, it's important to note when it comes to that record for average global temperature, scientists looked at data that only goes back to 1940.
What a hoax! What a hoax! Hottest day on record ever since 1940.
Oh, please.
But of course, that didn't stop this news model on Turkish radio television. She's a star. She is a star. I don't know much about her. She's got the hijab on. She's got like a green blouse.
Why is she a star? She's gorgeous?
She's gorgeous, yes. And she's towing the line like nobody else's business.
And she doesn't flub?
No, she's the new Paki Shawarma. I'm telling you. Only she's Turkish.
And you have her name is?
I don't know her name. But I do know the name of the guy that she had on. And I'm just going to, his climate specialist, Durwood Zelke, Zaelke, and he single-handedly runs what is it called? The Institute for Governance and Sustainable Development, which gets about $11 million a year. He puts $250 a year in his pocket, and so does a couple of his other board members. They're doing quite well. They don't seem to do much other than just talk in the most. If you wanted a minute and a half of every single meme and term you could think of for climate change, Durwood Zelke is your man.
For more on this, we're joined by climate specialist Durwood Zelke in Myrtle Beach in South Carolina. Thank you so much for being with us on the program. Now, we continue to break records for the worst when it comes to the climate crisis. If we continue at this pace, where are we headed to in terms of potential natural disasters, drought, and displacement?
What we're seeing is the beginning of the hothouse Earth, where the self-reinforcing feedback loops in the climate system begin to push us past a series of irreversible and likely catastrophic tipping points. This is going to happen when we hit 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial level. Right now, we're at 1.25 above pre-industrial level, and it's already causing these extreme weather events, the record-breaking heat, and it's just the beginning. Because when we go a little bit further, get just a little bit warmer, we move from what we call linear impacts that scale with the amount of warmth. And the impacts are a little worse. But we hit these feedbacks and the tipping points where we have abrupt and nonlinear responses that are going to be far worse. It's like stepping off a cliff where you take that final step and you plunge down into disaster. This is happening, we expect, within a decade to breach 1.5 unless we slam on the brakes.
We've got linear impact. We've got hothouse Earth. We've got feedback. We've got stepping off a cliff. We've got a
tipping points.
Tipping points. Slam on the brakes. My goodness. This guy's and $11 million a year.
It was totally an Al Gore spiel.
Oh, yeah.
If he had a lisp, he would have probably sounded a little like him.
So King Charles activated the climate countdown clock with the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan. You probably missed that news.
I did.
The climate clock has a countdown of 6 years and 24 days. That means we have 6 years and 24 days left to lower the temperature, which, as you just heard, is the hottest on Earth ever since 1940.
Ever.
And this was proclaimed on June 29th. So,
and by the way, it was cold here.
Yeah. Well, it's a global temperature. It's an average. That turns out to be July 11th of 2029. I have no idea why that date is significant, but that is the date. Mark it in your calendar. We all die July 11th.
A, how did they come up with the date? And B, is this Charles going to be focused on that? Means he's going to drop dead that day?
Something's going to happen.
Is that his death day?
Something not good is going to happen. I have a couple of boots on the ground reports. For some reason, even though we've been following the entire Dutch nitrogen conversation since it started, and we concluded very quickly that this is bullcrap. People, I don't know if you got any notes, but you clearly don't understand what's going on. I say, yeah, I do. They've made up some bullcrap noise to get rid of your farmers so that you'll have to have people starving and they're going to build houses instead of where cows fart and you've got beef and milk and cheese and everything and you're being screwed. And I mean, but people take this very...
What happens to the great Dutch cheeses? That's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah, but here's an example. Adam and John, about last podcast discussion about the nitrogen and fertilizer and what the big deal is. The process takes nitrogen, which is free from the air, adds hydrogen stripped from natural gas, methane, to make ammonia. The waste product is CO2. Carbon footprint bean counting has zeroed in on agriculture, and they probably see this as a double win. Quit using methane to stop making CO2. Both are greenhouse gases. There's another thing regarding Ukraine. Oh, so it goes on and on and on. It's like, we understand it's a scam. And people seem to have to explain the whole thing to us.
The only good letter I got in this regard was the fact that using large amounts of nitrogen results in some nitrates seeping down into the water table.
I have this. I can read it if you want to hear it.
Well, yeah, I want you to read it. But first of all, the question I asked at the time, because I want to ask you, how much groundwater is used in Holland when it's so far below sea level?
It's all groundwater. The whole place is water.
I know, but how much is used? You drink it? Do you bathe with it? Is it a problem that you get nitrates in there?
We live in it. I don't know.
Well, there you go.
This is no. And that when I say I don't know, people go, "Oh, you don't know? Let me explain it." The higher percentage of organic matter,
and it's Adam
yes.
at curry.com.
The higher the percentage of organic matter and the microbial life is present in the soil, the longer it takes for rain to leave the area where it falls. Many soil microbes exude an extracular polymeric substance that causes the soil to retain the water. When soil can hold more water, it doesn't run off into streams and rivers as much. The water percolates down into earth, recharging the aquifers.
Bullshit.
I mean,
aquifers.
The smaller the percentage of soil microbiota, a much larger percent of rainfall leaves via runoff. This sounds like bullcrap. For 70 years, we've been abusing the land, and thoughtful people on both the right and left are saying the same thing. 40% of our country is facing desertification, and unless farmland management changes immediately, 80% of the nation's farmland has 60 years of topsoil left. I don't know how true those numbers are, and I typically stay away from these sorts of dire predictions, but desertification is observable in many parts of the country and many countries in the world. Well, yes, you do have to do regenerative farming, and going back to the days of the Bible.
That's not the note.
This is the note I got.
Yeah, he's a note you got, but no, this other note specifically went on and on about nitrates in the groundwater.
I didn't have that note. You should have brought that note.
Well, I know we're going to go in this direction.
Well, I have one more, a short one, from Boots on the Ground. Salutations from Madrid. I just learned from an inside source at PepsiCo. Now, PepsiCo, don't think Pepsi-Cola. What is PepsiCo Foods? What do they own? We should probably look.
Pepsi-Cola?
No.
Consult the book of knowledge.
Let's see what they actually own.
It's a conglomerate. They own half the soft drinks that Coca-Cola doesn't own.
Yeah, but
It's all a scam. It's the same two companies.
They own, oh my goodness, Lay's potato chips. Oh, they've got a lot here.
You can read for an hour.
Snacks. Oh, snacks.
A lot of snacks.
They got hot dogs. They got, what is snacks.com? They own snacks.com? How about that? What is Smart Food? Oh, look at that. Doritos.
There's Smart Food.
They have
Doritos.
chips, puffs, popcorn, pretzels, veggie chips, nuts and seeds, Doritos, Lay's Wavy. It's a multi-billion-dollar company with all kinds of foods. Well, at least what they call food. It's the stuff you eat during the Super Bowl.
Quasi-food company.
Quasi-food companies. I have learned from an inside source at PepsiCo that by next year, 1/3 of the ingredients in PepsiCo food products will come from insects. They're investing heavily in insect harvesting farms and consequently need a loan. They are pressured by the ESG score and are also taking measures to rebalance the racial diversity of their staff, which I'm having a hard time believing, so I'm withholding that info until I can verify it. So they are doing insect farms for their ESG score. Yummy.
Okay.
Yummy.
Here's what let's assume this is true.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do something with their lobbyists
and donors.
And donors and lobbyists and donors. They're going to do something with these people to get them to change the definition of cricket flour.
Yes, to food.
To flour.
Flour. I'm sorry. Flour. Cricket flour is flour.
It's what they've been trying to do with the artificial, with the high fructose corn syrup to change it to just sugar. They've been trying to do. They haven't pulled this off yet. I don't know they're going to be able to pull it off.
This is very interesting.
But they'll change the name to something that sounds so when you read it, you go, oh, okay, whatever. And you continue reading.
There's, we have this whole trend of Wegovy and Ozempic, and everyone's rushing for the best weight loss injection or pill or whatever. And, just like with COVID, we had to change some terms. We had to change what a vaccine is. We had to change all kinds of...
Right, redefined it.
Little itty-bitty thing. Well, here's my favorite. Scientists, this is according to The Independent, but there's a lot of these articles, are calling for obesity to be renamed to improve treatment. They feel that obesity is no longer adequately addresses the disease, and it requires distinguishing it clearly and unambiguously from high body mass index. So they want to redefine or use a different term from
new word.
New word, exactly. Now, none of the articles has the new term. There's one suggestion that I could find, which is called adiposity-based chronic disease.
Yeah.
What is adiposity?
I don't know, but it's no good. This term's no good.
No, I thought
it has to be a nice jazzy term that doesn't offend anyone.
How about food-attached trauma?
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah, because it's an acronym for FAT.
Yeah, fat. Hey, by the way, people got to go see this. It's a L.A. history. It's a queer something history of Los Angeles. I think is the name of it. And it was on PBS, and it's fascinating. It goes way the Angelinos. They're way pre Stonewall. This everything Stonewall did, they copied. And the word pride is an acronym for people. People involved with something. I got to get the acronym.
You can't just throw that out and not have the acronym.
I was going to look it up, but I didn't have time. I don't know if you're going to find it that easily, but the word pride came from the gay community in Los Angeles around 1957, and it's an acronym.
Personal rights in defense and education? No. Here it is. The word pride was originally another acronym, just like LGBT. Okay, what was it? Personal rights in defense and education. Yes, that's it. Well, that's lame.
It's lame.
That's not
I'm glad I didn't go through the trouble.
That's not a good acronym, people. I don't like that at all. Adiposity, having the property of containing fat. Hey, your ass is adipositized. No, that's not right. How do we use it in a sentence?
Sounds like an Amos and Andy term.
One more thing on climate change. We luckily have an expert in the house.
Warmer weather and climate change is pushing winemakers further north, far from the sun-soaked terrain of Spain, France, or Italy. Norway, hardly the location that comes to mind, is now becoming a hotspot. It's all down to global warming, which has opened the door for the maps of Europe's vineyards to be redrawn.
So, what say you, Mr. Dvorak? I love it when people say,
it's believed that most of Northern Europe were vineyard. In fact, Vineland, if you recall that from the Norsemen, the Vikings, when they went to, I forgot where, Greenland or someplace, they called it Vineland because there were vineyards up there. England has vineyards to this day, but they are credited with actually having the first sparkling wines. The champagne was invented in England in the 1300s or whenever it was. Now, this is not a new phenomenon that these northern climes have wineries that produce good quality product. I'm telling you, if global warming is taking place at all, it's improving the quality. I've said this before with other clips. It's improving the general quality of high-end wines around the world. The Burgundies are having more vintages that are high quality. Germany's producing tremendous quality wines, and they're always used to struggle. It's a bonanza.
Yeah, and you know where
else?
It's
all good news. I don't know what the complaining is about.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
Well, we actually have a pretty short list for today, starting in Nashville, Tennessee. With $152.52 with Christy Barnett with a switcheroo for her smoking hot husband, Phil. His 52nd birthday, he's on the list. Robert Hausner in Memora, Ontario, Canada, $150. He needs some emergency house selling karma, and we'll give him that at the end.
It is kind of sad. He has to sell his dream home because of COVID madness. That sucks.
Yeah, it's bad.
If anybody wants a dream home, look up Robert Hausner on No Agenda Social.
Yeah, there you go. He's in Canada, in Ontario. Bruce Schwalm in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, $133.88. Dame Beth in Tucson, Arizona, $110. That's a donation of the temperature.
Ooh, I like that.
Gimmick.
Ooh, I like the temperature donation. Very nice.
We're going to do a temperature donation drive.
She requests a shake of the rain stick for the Southern Arizona slaves. Do we do that?
Oh, I don't care at this point.
Well, okay, hold on.
Do it. Come on.
Hold on. Hey, and listen to me.
Where's your
one twist, no ball shaking. Ready?
You mean of the rain stick?
In 3, 2, 1. There you go. Tucson, Arizona. That should do it for you. Good work.
I had to hear it dripping over there. John Robinet, $100. Kerry Jackson in Watertown, Tennessee, $100. Here we go. He hasn't lost out yet. Kevin McLaughlin, Locust, North Carolina, 8008.
Wow.
Boobs. Gabriel Martinez in McKinney, Texas, 8008. You got a birthday call it for Kyle. Anonymous in Comic, New York, 7694. Cheryl Dorfell in Big Pine, Florida, 7694. I'll read a little bit of this because she says, I just canceled 2 subscriptions to make this and future donations possible. Good. Good for you, Cheryl. Hopefully one of them was to PBS. James Otis in West Des Moines, Iowa, a birthday donation of 7667 and a de-douching for his biscuit for his birthday.
You've been de-douched.
They always give me a biscuit on my birthday.
Susan Mullinax in Clovis, California. This is 7423, which is a 4th of July donation.
Mm-hmm.
And she's hooked.
Yeah.
Good old Susan.
And
Shane Sproul in Peace River, Alberta, Canada.
She wants to
7423 is another for Happy Canada Day. I did send out a Happy Canada note to the Canadians I have on the list as Canadians. Wayne Cartini in Torrington, Connecticut, 7421. Whittler of Wessex in Yeovil. I don't know where that is. Great Britain somewhere, 6969. Todd Marikoff in West Hartford, Connecticut, also 6969. Some thank yous to us from Todd. Les Tarkowski in Kingman, Arizona, $57. Sir Paul in Twickenham, UK, $55.55. Patrick Bomer in Amstelveen. Bomer, Netherlands. And he's got some Dutch there you might want to read, but he's on the birthday list. Brian Furley in 5510. No, he's not in 5510. He donated it. Linda Lupatkin, again, in Lakewood, Colorado, 5333. She's from imagemakers.inc.com, but she's not going to get away with the announcement there at 5533. Michael Gates, 5280. Kurt Patrick in Nanaimo, BC, $50, and he starts off the 50s with none of the crazy ones, and there are no 5001s or anything. Charles Peterson, Albuquerque, New Mexico. James Shorametta in Napanoch, New York. Jacob Martinez in El Monte, California. Anna Drake in Whitestown, Indiana. Sir Greg in Newport, North Carolina. Hannah Richter and Craig, Alaska, AK? Yeah. Lynn Malinowski in Stafford, Virginia. Alex Zavala in Kyle, Texas. Michael Labar in Williamston, Michigan. Sir Luke in London, UK. Matthew Smith in Colchester, UK. Philip Kosmanovsky in Austin, Texas. Ryan Tiernan in North Providence, Rhode Island. Jonathan Ferris in Liberal, Kansas. Sir Jason Deluzio in Miami Beach. And last but not least, Sir Brett Farrell. And I believe he's in Oklahoma City. I want to thank all these people for helping us out on show 1570.
And a reminder that notes are not guaranteed to be read under the executive or associate executive producer level. Sometimes you get lucky. That all depends on John at Dvorak.org. But there were a couple dedouchings we overlooked, so I'll give a general dedouching, a house selling karma, and karma for anybody else who needs it.
You've been de-douched.
You've got karma.
And, of course, thank you to everyone who came in under $50. That is for anonymity. Guaranteed you won't read any names or anything under the 50. And a lot of people there are with their ongoing sustaining donations. We really appreciate those. They do keep a base level for us at some level. And if you'd like to learn how to be a producer of any sort of the No Agenda Show, the best podcast in the universe, go here.
Dvorak.org/NA. It's your birthday.
Of course, course, we always love reading off the birthdays, and Marie wishes her wonderful partner, Toby, a happy birthday for today. Gabriela Martinez wishes Kyle Jacob a happy birthday, also celebrating today, as is Gina Pataras and James Otis. Patrick Bomer turns 59 today. He's from my year, 1964. And finally, Christy Barnett wishes her smoking hot husband, Phil Barnett, a happy birthday. He's turning 52. Happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe. It's your birthday, yeah. We do not have any title changes. We do have a dame and 3 knights to bring up onto the podium. So if you could...
Here's the blade.
Wow, what a beauty. You polished it. That's nice. All right, Jennifer, you've been called out, as has Mark Murphy, William Levenberg, and Justin Nelson Price. All of you become a Knights and Dame of the No Agenda Roundtable. I'm very proud to pronounceate thee as Dame Jennifer, protector of the paperbacks, Sir Mark on the Universe, Sir Turkaye, and Sir Tech Wizard. Gentlemen and Dame, welcome to the No Agenda Roundtable. For you, by request, we have lab-grown Turkaye meat dripping in extra bovine syrup, Diet Dr. Pepper Buffalo and Buffalo hot wings with avocado lime ranch dressing, and some coffee and pancakes. Along with that, how about some ginger ale and gerbils, bong hits and bourbon, sparkling cider and escorts? Maybe just like the mutton and meat, everybody seems to enjoy that. And while you're munching away on all your goodies, you can head over to noagendarings.com. Take a look at those beauties that are coming your way. Just give us an address to send them to and your ring size. It comes with wax to seal your important correspondence. And, of course, a certificate of authenticity, because that is a true recognition of your knight or dame status of the No Agenda Show. And thank you for supporting us.
No Agenda Meetup.
Well, as things start to get tough around the universe, Gitmo Nation, No Agenda Nation is there for you. More and more people are seeing that these are a great way to kind of get out of your COVID funk if you were in one. But also you may have lost friends or family who just don't want to talk to you anymore for whatever reason. I can think of a couple. If you want to find people who will not care what you think, but just will love you for who you are, go to a No Agenda meetup. You'll be surprised how well everybody fits in. And this type of connection is truly protection. NoAgendaMeetups.com. Here's an example of a great meetup that took place in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
This is Shannon, co-host from Fort Wayne. I got here with an Amish chauffeur in the morning.
It's Matt from the Great Black Swamp. Resist we much.
This is Mike in Fort Wayne in the morning.
Son of a bloke in the morning. This is Michael from Defiance County in the morning.
In the morning from Ohio bloke.
This is Dame Trinity from Fort Wayne in the morning.
Hi, it's Linda from Fort Wayne in the morning.
In the morning, Sir PBR Street Gang, thank you for your courage.
This is Adam from the village of White House, Ohio, in the morning. In the morning!
As you can tell, a very energetic group there in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And on the 4th of July, since they could only celebrate their loss, we had the London Courage Meetup, who sent us a beautiful meetup report.
In the morning, Adam and John. This is the London Courage Meetup Report on the 4th of July in Arch 33. Our pub quiz efforts have second place.
In the morning, Dame Shopska Salad here and embarrassing Robert, who doesn't want to speak.
In the morning, hooey hooey from across the pond.
In the morning, it's 5 a.m. from Bromley.
In the morning, it's Sarah here. Second meetup has been an absolute ball. Fantastic to meet all the Gitmo slaves.
Hey, Dylan Mulvaney, what's that got to do with it? In the morning, my name's Steve. My first intent is so great to meet like-minded people.
Meetup report.
Meetup report. Well, we're bored, basically. We need inspiration. That's why we listen to you, right?
Hey, greetings from London. Julia here.
How long did it take you to get here?
Took me 5 hours.
Hello, comrade.
In the morning from the Gitmo state of London.
Thank you, Gigi, organising the London meetup.
In the morning.
Well.
69, dudes.
There you go. Woo! London Courage. You certainly were filled with all kinds of London Courage, it sounded like. And I appreciate that. It's so nice. All around the world, these meetups take place. They even take place in Doc's backyard in Sunset Valley. That's Austin, Texas. That'll be this Saturday. The local 5/12 July meetup. You do not want to miss this one. I believe Sir Gene is even going to make an appearance. Portland, Oregon. We were talking about him earlier. There are some sanity people up there, some sane people. You can find them at Dick's Primal Burger on, it's the second Saturday Slave Soiree. That'll be Saturday at 3 o'clock. We have the Mid-South meetup at Velvet Ditch. That is in Oxford Square near Oxford, Memphis, and Tupelo at the Blind Pig Pub. Also on Saturday in Japan, Osaka, Tenma Appreciation Night, 6 o'clock at Tenma Station. You must RSVP to Sir Bill of Osaka for details. That's a great group, by the way. The Osaka meetups are fantastic. They've been going on for at least a decade. On Sunday, our next show day, downtown East Down South at Rel Repo Taqueria. Oh my goodness. Scarborough, Maine. That'll be, as I said, Sunday, 12:30. Then we have July 9th Haarlem meetup in the Netherlands. Contact Kroll for details. It's a boat tour through Haarlem's canals. And the Dutch, man, they're always doing cool stuff. And finally, on Sunday, is someone knocking on your door? Do they have a warrant? Or you just knocking on?
Someone knocking on the door, they have a warrant.
Or you just knocking out your pipe?
The show is more important.
John. Mexico City's first meetup, apparently, at La Cervericha del Barrio. That is Mexico City. Holy guacamole. I can't wait to hear that meetup. I know that there are people all over Mexico. Mexico City's first. It's possible. That is this Sunday. We've got a lot more on the list at noagendameetups.com, including Zurich, Switzerland. We've got another Netherlands, Maastricht, but also Tampa, Indianapolis, Houston, Huntsville, Charlotte, Los Angeles, Kernersville, Fort Worth, Texas. You name it. There is always a No Agenda meetup within, I'd say, 20 miles probably at this point. If not, if you can't find one near you, go to noagendameetups.com and start one yourself and announce it. You will not regret it.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the nights and days. You want to be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You want to be where everybody feels the same. It's like a party.
Now, I have an ISO. I don't remember where this was from. Do you have ISOs?
I have two.
I'll play mine. I'm not quite sure where mine are even from.
Let's kill all white people! Yeah, baby!
Oh, yeah, pride. And this one. Please be safe. Kind of like that one. Okay.
Yeah, I got two. So with thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very, very much for listening.
I'm tired of Joe Biden.
Then just go with cool and amazing.
This is really cool. It's really amazing.
Oh, yeah, done. That's done. You knew that was going to win. There's no doubt. Of course. Easy win. Easy win.
Now, to get us out of here, I actually have 3 clips.
Oh.
If we want to get out with some knowledge.
Let's have a show of hands, trolls. Do we want some knowledge or just some
some goofball stuff?
Just goofball chewing gum for the brain. Let me know what you think. I'm going to wait for the first troll.
I don't care what they think.
They think knowledge. They all want knowledge. Knowledge is requested.
Sure they do.
Yes. No. Bemrose wants to wallow in ignorance.
Well, that's Bemrose. He doesn't.
Okay. What are we doing?
This is a 3-clip. The bodybuilder Joe Lindner died.
This is a package.
At the age of 30.
Yes. How sad.
He was a huge influencer and the rest. And, the first thing you hear is, well, he took the vax and bragged about it, and then he died. Ha, ha, ha.
Well,
so I found him just before he died on a podcast. Which is Bradley Martin's Raw Talk, which is a pretty good, if you're a bodybuilder, you'd probably watch this. This is Bradley Martin's a guy who was, I think he's out of LA, and he defied the authorities by keeping his gym open. And
yes, sure.
Making a big fuss.
Mm-hmm.
And so he interviewed poor Joe just before he died, and it brought out, he did take the shot 4 times, but it was like he was kind of humiliated by it. The way it was presented, it was just different than what you'd think. I think this is very educational. This is Joe Lydon, who sounds exactly like Schwarzenegger, even though he's German, on the Bradley Martin Raw Talk, clip 1.
So, then went with this guy to Thailand the first time. And as we are doing this kind of social media business on content, mostly it's about content. So every day comes down to how much work you can get done. How much content can you do? Do you spend 3-4 days in a week not doing anything and then just record 1-2 days and that's good for you? Or you do content on a daily basis? And I found it is the easiest for me over there to do everything that I need to do or want to do without much distractions. Had a big
Why do you
gym.
think there's less distractions?
Wasn't too much for me personally to do that which I desired to do. I wanted to become this guy, right, the social media influencer that I can make a real good living from this.
Yeah.
So I knew I need to make content and keep pushing. So what I need to do, go gym, look crazy, take videos, upload this, and then support your community. So that's all I kind of then did, and then I just got stuck there somehow. And next thing is COVID hit. Right?
And then you were really stuck there.
Then COVID came along, and then there was like, no point now to go back to Germany.
Yeah.
No point to go here. Everywhere is locked down. Because the truth is, over there, it was really, everywhere else in the world was locked down. Over there was nothing yet. Nothing yet. And then when the world started to reopen up everywhere else, that's when they then had like 3-4 tough months. But I personally managed to have no lockdown. I didn't have a lockdown ever.
Did you get the vax?
I got the vaccine.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Even 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, man. He sounds like Schwarzenegger. It's not funny.
Yeah, he sounds just like him.
Yeah.
So this other guy goes, you got 4. Why?
Yeah.
Because he obviously got none, this gym guy. So it goes on from there. Let's go. And now it starts, the gruesome tale begins. This is part 1 of the gruesome tale, which is clip 2.
Why?
Yeah, and also, Brew, you know how it is. It's the same like you go to a party.
You were worried about your heart?
And you are with the wrong people. All of a sudden, you might do something on this party that you don't want to do because there's these people that are like, you should do it.
Dude, fuck.
So I'm in this place also. I was in this place. We don't need to say where it is exactly, but I was there and my friends say like, we can get it. You should get it, man. And I'm like,
you got peer pressured into the vax?
Yeah, kind of.
Is that what you're saying? I don't like, fuck no.
Yeah.
Whatever. It is what it is.
When I think about it later on, I'm like, what did I do, man? But, oh my God, this turns into weird conspiracy theories, because I did blood cleaning twice after all this. I did a plasmapheresis with taking out heavy metals and all that stuff. Oh man, yeah, I did all this. I don't know, this is too controversial probably to say this.
Wait, no, say it.
I went to the doctor and I did my blood work again because I take my blood work all the time. And then I show it to the doctor and we kind of see these particles and I'm like, what is this? And then they all
no way, dude.
This is
shut the fuck up.
This is from this. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I show it to another of my friends and there's all kind of hidden websites that you can't get to, but it's like the dark media kind of web. And there's even more conspiracies.
This is crazy as fuck because I know you're the kind of guy who for sure you got your blood work all the time and then you're telling me you got the thing and then you got your blood work and then it was fucking crazy.
And this guy's also big into it. So he's like, you need to do a plasmapheresis now. So they poke like a fucking needle into your arm here, which is like a pen, like thick like this, bro. It's unbelievable thick needle. And they take all your blood out, put it into this machine and then clean it and bring it back. So we did this with the heavy metal cleaning and all this stuff, which supposedly cleaned my blood. I did a D-dimer test and all this. I don't know if you know what it is. It's like this determines like the clotting of your arteries, arteries and stuff, like D-dimer. And like my D-dimer was this, and then after all this, it was that.
Wow. This is not cool.
Yeah.
A lot of F-bombs too.
Well, it's definitely a little rude.
But so he saw the particles in his blood.
And they pulled it in, went through the machine, did it twice, and he goes on, and now it gets even more, I hate to say it, but it gets more gruesome. And so this poor guy who died, this guy was like, it really was a shame. It was a crime, but here we go.
And then, I did.
So did it improve after you got that removal?
Did it, twice. I did it in 6 month period, like one time and then the second time. Also expensive as fuck, man. Like, it's no fun, man. I was so shocked, and the doctor was like, "You need to do it, man, if you want to like survive after you took these shots, bro.
No way.
You need to do this now." Yeah, this was like that actually.
Oh, shit.
Because I don't know if the nurse did something weird, because when she took this in Thailand, obviously.
Yeah.
So when she then took out the blood, and then it's like there was some like a white thing in there. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then they may be like, maybe cholesterol. And I'm like, what I have so high? Like, what the fuck is this? Then I show this to my friend. He's conspiracy. He shows me all these websites where it's like, since they do this to people, so and so many, they found this in athletes and stuff. And that's a weird like reason why people, they die. They have these white blood clots. Tons of them in their blood everywhere.
Oh, man.
And so they're like, this is what you maybe have. We go to this other doctor and make further testing. And then I make further testing, and he's like, not white. It was not white anymore. There was no white thing. It was probably air, just like the nurse didn't do it right. But he then said, there's these black particles. This is the heavy metal that you have in your blood.
Dude, that whole thing just trips me out. That was such a crazy time, man. Like an actual crazy time.
So ultimately what I think about this right now, like after all, I'm like, that was it and is some kind of a flu. And that's what it is. And people overreacted maybe, and whatever this, like, people maybe saw opportunities also for making
money.
Yeah. And you know that there's maybe bigger people over us. They can control much more things in different ways.
Yeah.
And they did let this happen, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think there was kind of an overreaction to this.
Yeah, I agree, man. For sure. I mean, I kept my gym open during the time. It was just the whole thing that, like, when you started asking questions, there wasn't much like congruency with all of the things that they were doing.
Man, we should make him a knight posthumously or something like that.
Poor guy.
Yeah, this sucks. This is downer.
Well, I'm sorry.
Wow. And what podcast was this?
This was on the Raw. It's called, let's see what the name of it is. It is Bradley Martin's Raw Talk.
Well, it's obvious. Podcasts are dangerous. Do not listen to podcasts.
From hot dogs to pet dogs, a new warning about the wrong way to walk your pet.
Some animal experts say just like distracted driving, distracted walking is an issue. They say talking on your phone or listening to a podcast while walking your dog could even hurt their mental health. Experts say walks are crucial for the routine. Not getting your full attention can be detrimental to your dog's behavioral training.
Go podcasting! That's right. Don't you dare listen to a podcast while you're walking your dog. Could be bad for your dog. My goodness. Well, thanks. I'm very informed. It's not like I didn't know this, but it's poor guy. He seems like he was kind of a cool dude, too.
Yeah. I just wanted to make a living as an influencer, acting crazy.
Well, he sure influenced me. End of show mixes. We've got some Sir Ducifer. We've got Dee's Laughs. We've got Steve Jones. And we've got Neil Jones, the Jones brothers, in the house. Clip custodian and clip collector. And coming up next, speaking of podcasting, if you'd like to know what's going on with the future of podcasting, we have episode 139 of Podcasting 2.0 coming up on noagendastream.com, trollroom.io, and of course in all those fancy new apps where we develop this stuff. And coming to you from the heart of the Texas Hill Country, here in FEMA Region number 6. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I remain. And it's cold, by the way. I'm John C. Dvorak.
Hottest day on record, everybody. Remember us at Dvorak.org/NA. We return on Sunday with at least 3 hours of deconstruction just for you of your M5M. Until then, adios, mofos. A hooey hooey and such.
You know, my dad had an expression. He used to say, you know you're a success as a parent when you turn and look at your child and realize they turned out better than you.
There's no way of knowing how it got there or whose it is, but it appears that cocaine has been found at the White House.
We have a yellow bar stating cocaine, hydrochloride.
Yes!
I would like to know blow by blow who was responsible for this.
Too soon.
Indeed, cocaine. Now, again, this is part of an ongoing investigation.
I can't even
fathom anything like this having been found before in the West Wing, and I go back to the 70s at the White House.
Piece of crack cocaine, no bigger than this quarter that I'm holding in my hand. $0.25 of $1. We passed a law that says you're caught with that, you go to jail. I spent more time on my hands and knees picking through rugs, smoking anything that even remotely resembled crack cocaine.
Come on, man. I think there was a lot of cheap shots taken at Hunter Biden. He's a recovering addict. It's not funny.
I like it.
Cocaine is a serious drug.
The big question, Andrea, is for how long had this item, which was described as a small dime-sized bag, been in this location?
That's like saying before you got in this program, if you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh?
President is proud to have restored the rule of law.
No dive.
I'm not here with any agenda. I mean, sure, I have my beliefs, I have my worldview, I have the things that I would like to see happen in this great nation of ours.
Digital fingerprints and Biden's speech that AI's glitching. Mexico receiving arms that the U.S. is now shipping. God save the queen, man. You're a lying dog face pony soldier. I mean, come on, man. Biden's broken brain 2 times they had to solder. Adrenochrome or not, homeboy is getting older. After taking the top off similar to his vet. 50 years in the Senate and swamp, he ain't done yet. Obama's 3rd term might be in play. Wishing I could bet the news like my boy Paulie say. Bill Gates went to China, that autistic misfit foundation donation. A 50 million in case you missed it. Old friend is honored. Thank you for your sacrifice. Lambs are to the slaughter. Citizens packed in like grains of rice. Lock them in their homes, feeling all alone. 1-9, screaming wasn't nice. Hey, they paid the price. Wuhan City, 10 million. It wasn't pretty. Now I'm feeling like an outcast. All I do to cope is laugh.
Okay, first, if you're going to ask a question, don't point at me and don't be disrespectful to me. I'm the mayor of this city, and treat me with the respect I deserve to be treated.
Voices, pounding yourself in the face with fist, and you can't stop yourself, and you're starting to hear voices,
Seems like there's something going on.
Seems just letting yourself become.
One night he tried to knock himself out.
Hear voices, become fist, pounding yourself in the face with your own fist,
took his knuckles to his face and pounded over and over, pounded again. It seems like there's something going on.
Little by little, you're just letting yourself become. Tyler Durden.
You think he's doing
I don't know.
bumps?
I'm just saying. I'm not making accusations at all.
Bumpy Joe. Blow Jiden also came in.
And there's probably 10 times he does it. And he goes in that way where you go and you kind of rub the nose or you grab it.
Blow Jiden. Blow Jiden. Cocaine.
Dvorak.org/NA.
This is really cool. It's really amazing.